mouth energy. Oh, sorry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruise Control. It is Friday, September 8th, 2023. Welcome to Cruise Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. And of course, we're going to have a few drinks. We're going to talk about some movies and some TV. It's your first time here. Welcome to Cruise Control. We have a great time. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. We have a lot going on. And of course, I had to introduce everybody because that's how it goes. But joining us back, as always, is my lovely co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How are you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hi, Ty in the chat.
Hey, Ty. Welcome to the chat. Happy Friday. How's your week been? You excited about tonight's show?
I'm going to be perfectly honest with everyone. I'm going to be up front right now. I had a very busy day at work. I didn't leave the office till 6. That's why we pushed till 7. I did zero research. So please forgive me if I am less knowledgeable than I normally am.
You've got this, Sabrina. I had like food poisoning
I'm going to try
today
really
too.
hard. I'm just saying.
I think I had food poisoning, so if I'm a little bit like, meh, I will kick the energy up as fast as I can. So you're good, Sabrina. It's going to be a good
leeway.
day.
Just give us a little leeway.
Just a little leeway. That's all we need. But joining us back on Friday, and it wouldn't be Friday, with the actor, creator, and I'm going to call her the queen of Drunk Friday, Miss Rachel Blakely. Rachel, welcome back to Cruise Control. How are you doing tonight?
I'll take it. That's a great intro. I'm honoring Mr. Jimmy Buffett today. I've got, the Hawaiian shirt. I've got a coconut for my beverage. So we're doing great.
Nice.
I
love it. Always like the cups you have are always fantastic.
And also, ever prepared. She showed up like Barbie for Barbie. She's like, you don't fuck around, Rachel. I like it. Ooh,
making it happen.
I also like that. Hashtag commit to the bit.
Old fashioned over here myself, but of course, we're not alone though. Of course we can't be alone. There's usually 4 here, right? But joining us on Friday for the first time in a very long time, I'm talking about our in-house intellectual, Mike Casey himself.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, Mike. How you doing tonight?
That's so much pressure, Brian. I can't be an intellectual. If you say, here comes that idiot that we have on sometimes, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable. Hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on a Friday. I know you guys always have a lot of fun on Fridays, and it's great to see you, Rachel. I'm excited to munch into some of these topics, just like Pac-Man. Waka, 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 waka. That's going to be all 4 of us tonight. We're going to be Clyde, Blinky,
Pac-Man,
Inky, Pinky, and right? Isn't that the name?
Look at you. Yeah, something. You're close.
Pinky Winky.
I called dibs on Clyde.
What?
We have a request, you guys. We have a request.
For the
Everybody's
Pac-Man
got a
impression. Got it.
Drink time.
You got it, Ryan.
In the words of Frank Sinatra, post time. But yeah.
Lexi, there's not going to be any way that I can handle this. You're just going to have
Is that a double Windsor?
apologize.
Is that a double Windsor, sir?
It's a single Windsor. Double. I don't have any ties long enough to do a double.
I wouldn't know a double Windsor. That's Brian talk. I don't know what that means.
You're looking sharp though tonight,
Very
Mike. You
sharp.
really are. Yeah, everyone's looking great tonight. I gotta say,
very handsome cast of characters.
Very handsome, very handsome. And Mike wearing a tie tonight. It's some breaking news. Talk about, and I usually go at the very top before we start, but I figured just dive into this. So it's Friday. We got to kind of talk about what's been going on when we lose some people. And this past week, we lost a few different legends here to music. And I just want to talk about it very briefly off the top. So the very first person, of course, is Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett passed away. And I mean, this man has been playing forever. You're talking about even opening up these franchises, these restaurants, and like, I mean, Margaritaville was such a huge thing for him. Who would have known that it would have been this whole thing that just blew up the entertainment world and made people love singing along with this? And then I guarantee selling a lot more margaritas out there than ever were sold before due to him. But he passed away though on September 1st, unfortunately. And a $1 billion empire he had. And they actually died of a very rare skin disease, which came out just recently. So that's what I want to talk about it. But Merkel cell carcinoma. And the whole thing about this, so too, it's like, if you catch it early, you can live through it. 74% of people live through it. But unfortunately, if you wait too long and it gets into your system further, they say at that point, 24% chance of living through it. And he just didn't get it in time, and unfortunately, he passed away from this. But it's very rare. It doesn't happen that much, and it's just unfortunate because he was a legend to the business. And I mean, another person though too that passed away, and it's like, if you know Smash Mouth, if you know Shrek, You probably heard him sing it multiple times, but Steve Harwell passed away, and apparently he'd been, the band was going forward and talking about this, saying that he just dealt with alcohol abuse for freaking years, ended up passing away from liver cancer. And he ended up stepping down because he couldn't do it anymore. They got a new lead singer that stepped forward, took over for the band. They've been touring with this new person. They actually have a new song out too called Underground Sun that happened. But yeah, he stepped down since I think it was early 2021. He stepped down, and he's been just fighting cancer. And unfortunately, it finally got him. But yeah, we know this. We know his songs. Hey there, you're a rock star. Hey now, you're a rock star. And it's just a big loss to the entertainment industry. Again, like two legends just gone, just like that. And it's really unfortunate for these two.
Was he cancer or was he liver failure?
Liver failure.
Pop music scene in the United States. It's a tragedy to lose somebody, especially to something that's hypothetically preventable, like liver failure. We all are impacted by addiction. We all have people in our lives that these kind of problems affect. So, I'd be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity, since we're talking about it, to say alcoholism and other forms of addiction can be very manageable. And there's a lot of treatment programs to reach out to. If you want, you can tweet me at Touchy Ghost, and I'm happy to direct anybody out there that either has themselves or a loved one that's dealing with issues of addiction, because really people's lives can change. So we don't have to have the same end as Steve Harwell did. But
thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for that.
For sure. Yeah, appreciate that, Mike. I know everybody does out there too. Like, reach out to us. Honestly, I know we joke about drinking a lot on Fridays, but it can be something horrific for someone's life.
He lost his son. He lost his son to cancer, and I think that then he just went down a very dark road, and it unfortunately, turned out to be his demise, which is awful. But
yeah, it's very sad. It's a very sad day for music in general, and Buffett too. Like, he's been just killing it for years too. Jimmy Buffett, like, everyone knows Margaritaville and all of his legendary songs, and he left his impact on pop culture, and that will be. I don't think he'll be forgotten anytime soon. And
he was
unfortunately, too,
huge philanthropist too. Jimmy Buffett did a lot of really good philanthropic
work. For real? I never heard about any of this. I was
he founded the foremost manatee rescue society in Florida.
Really? What? That makes a lot of sense.
I did not know that.
I'm a major manatee fan. I'm surprised I'd never heard of that before.
He founded the Manatee Club.
We have to make sure we ask the manatees to subscribe at the end of the episode. So let's just not forget them.
they better subscribe. Come on, those manatees. Freaking manatees are probably
friend of the show.
That's all I'm saying.
Friends of the show.
I'm already mad because they haven't subscribed. That's all I'm saying. But that's a manatee for you. Freaking manatees. Not hating on manatees. I'm just saying,
Sounded like you were getting a little negative on the manatee.
Yeah. But there was a lot of also
opposable digits is the problem. The clicks are hard to manage.
Those are hard.
You know who also doesn't have those, Mike? Any of the characters in the Elemental movie, because they're just pretty much blobs. That's pretty much it. But Elemental is now coming to Disney Plus, and a lot of people didn't see this. So a lot of people didn't see this. So Sabrina, it did make money. It made $480 million. Now the budget for this was $200 million, $100 million marketing. So $300 million to make this movie, which is freaking nuts. A lot of movie for an animated project. There's a lot of posts that goes into this too. But like at that price, $300 million, they made 480. So they ended up going away with $180 million profits, which isn't really too bad. It's actually a pretty good profit for one of these.
Not too bad.
But not as big as it could have been. But at least they made money, because when it first came out, people were saying this wasn't going to make any money. It really did bad that first opening weekend, and then it kind of ramped up. So they did actually do pretty well overall. But if you haven't seen it, because I know a lot of people still haven't seen it, it's coming to Disney Plus. Come to Disney Plus on September 13th. So not too far away. It'll be streaming on your TV if you still have Disney. Because I know people have been canceling because of the strike. And I know people have been fighting Disney. Like we talked about, Spectrum, and people are getting mad at Disney more and more. But Disney's been doing a lot of weird things. It's like how they have Echo series being pushed again too. And I think it's also because of the strike. But we talked about this briefly. I just want to tell everybody the Echo series is being pushed to January officially. It was coming out in November. It's a spin-off of Daredevil, but it was actually a spin-off of Hawkeye, where they introduced the character, and then they were going to bring it into Daredevil world. And apparently Kevin Feige didn't like this series, and they almost scrapped the whole thing, but then they decided, let's just release it because it ties into the world. Let's drop all the episodes at once. Now, at one time they said it would be 8 episodes, and then went down to 6. Well, now apparently it's 5 episodes long, all dropping at one time. Very first time this has happened on Disney Plus, where they've dropped them all at once like this. And they just said they want to get out there just so people have that connecting tissue in between Daredevil and Hawkeye for this character to move forward. So if you like the character of freaking Echo, then hopefully you'll love that this is coming out soon. But yeah, wait a little bit longer. This is what they're doing. People are shuffling their schedule because of the strike, and they want content coming out, and they'll spread it out further and further because they know they have nothing else new coming. So you're going to see this more and more. But a big thing that I saw too that's being picked up and coming back is the mayor of Kingstown. I was excited about this because we know Jeremy Renner has gone through so much shit. When he got run over by that snowplow, and everyone thought he was going to die almost, and he's coming back. He's coming back stronger than ever. And apparently they had decided to pick this up way back before he was run over. It was like right after he got run over, actually. But they kept quiet about it because they weren't sure if he would actually be okay to continue forward moving with the series. And they were like, not sure if they should actually bring the series to a season 3. They didn't have their lead actor. But now that he's doing better, Paramount said, okay, it's time to actually put it out there. We're doing a season 3. Jeremy Renner's going to be okay, so we'll be able to make this happen. And I think that's pretty great that they did that, especially, I mean, it's a business thing. They had to wait on it, but I'm happy that he's getting another season because I haven't seen this, but it's great because to go through what he went through and now to come back to know that you're appreciated, the work you've been doing and putting out there is loved and the audience wants more and the studio is willing to give you more, even though you've gone through all this and it was very unpredictable. They're still letting, it's gonna be your first time really being back. It's huge. It's great. And I feel great for him that he's had this opportunity. But the series follows the McCluskey family. They're power brokers in Michigan, which I think is cool. Kingstown, Michigan, home state. Yeah, I'm like,
if that was real, but it's not.
It's
is it supposed to be like a suburb of Detroit? Is kind of what I get based on the visuals.
Yeah, that's what it kind of seems like. They're just making something up for this. But the incarcerations aren't the only thing that are thriving in this industry. Apparently, they're tackling themes of racism, corruption, inequality, and the series provides a stark look at their attempt to bring order and justice to a town that has neither. So 3 seasons, pretty great for Jeremy Renner. I'm happy that he's had this opportunity to come back strong like this and still have this show going. It's great for fans and it's great for him. So I think it's great. I mean, I'll probably check this out sometime. Has anybody seen this? Anybody watch this show though on here? Because I haven't seen it. Sabrina hasn't seen it. The Flattened Mayor. Oh, but a boom, 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 boom. Sabrina.
Oh, let's see. Okay.
That was spicy.
Lexi's in a dark mood tonight.
Sabrina, are you happy this is happening?
What? Am I what?
Yeah, are you happy? You think this makes sense from the studio to make another season forward for this?
I have not seen the show, but it has been received very well, and I am a fan of him and his work, and so yeah, of course I'm, especially going through that whole thing, like when he was hit with the snowplow, run over by the snowplow, he was helping his neighbor, all the things that came out was just he's a really good person who is just a human, which unfortunately I think is lacking these days, so someone who is in his position that is still willing to dig out his neighbor's car or help somebody. That's not something that really happens very often. So I'm very proud of him for being a good person. And so of course I want good things to come his way. And like I said, it's been received very well. I'm sure it's a good show. He's a great actor. So yeah, absolutely. I'm glad when he's fully recovered, that he'll have a job. So it's amazing. And especially in this uncertain time where the strike is looming and the strike is happening, not looming.
Yeah, it's out there.
And there's things getting canceled. And, but it's just so weird to me that they're oh, we're scrapping this whole thing. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to push that. We're going to pull that. It's so weird to me how they decide what they're actually doing. Why are you dropping things and adding things? I don't understand it, but I'm glad that he is going to be able to go back to work when he's ready. So good for him.
I keep wanting to.
It's apparently filmed in Canada, so I wonder if that has a bearing on the fact that it was renewed during the writers' strike.
Oh, maybe they said they had decided before though. They said they had decided months ago before the strike and all that too, Mike. But they just didn't want to announce it because they were thinking about canceling it too after the fact. And as we saw, there's shows that have happened that's happened too during this whole strike. The Peripheral was one of them. The Peripheral was picked up for another season and they canceled it amidst the strike because they're it's going to take too long.
Yeah, and one of our watchers was very upset about that.
And apparently there's a poll out there. If you're a fan of the Peripheral, they're going to be the fans are trying to get together to be save the Peripheral.
Yes, there's a petition. So if anyone is a fan of the Peripheral, just Google it and sign the petition. Maybe something will happen. They did it for Manifest, which is a far lesser show.
That got saved. But And something like this, I don't know about the peripheral get saved. I hear it's great. I hear it's awesome, but saving things like this sometimes are very hard to do.
Sure.
Once the shit hits the fan, it's fucking done. It's an anomaly, yeah. But it's somebody else that probably can't be saved is CM Punk. And I just want to talk about this very quickly because I'm a big wrestling fan and I saw this happen. But CM Punk was fired, everybody. If you're a big fan of wrestling, AEW, he was fired from AEW because he actually did a backstage. Like, he was backstage, he started fighting with another wrestler. Yeah. Jack Perry. Him and Jack Perry, though, Mike got into a fight, an alteration backstage, apparently, during All In London. And they had a week-long, they went for a week, had a whole, week-long, going through the whole thing, inspecting the whole thing, trying to figure out what happened, collecting evidence, and having a whole investigation into this. Evidence. And then they decided that they let CM Punk go. Now, he's been there for 3 years. I know, CM Punk, he's been around for a while. If you watch wrestling, he has always been controversy.
Long time, yeah.
Well, yeah, lots of controversy, but they're going back and forth being like, well, what actually happened? Now, some people are saying that backstage, he actually went up to the guy and he grabbed him and started hitting him and choking him. And then they said in the other way that, Jack Perry grabbed him and choked him. They were fighting backstage.
Though? Don't they do that?
Yeah, but not backstage. I know, right, Sabrina? But it just happened backstage. And you can't have this in the business. I know. And there's still no word what actually happened because this is just rumors, insiders. Some people no, it didn't happen. They just got into words backstage and that was it. But I mean, somebody had to be physically hurt or attacked, I think, to fire someone, especially CM Punk, who was champion. He was a world champion at the time. He just defended the title and won that night. To fire him a week later is kind of a weird thing unless there was something bad that happened. And CM Punk has a temper. So I see this being a thing.
There was an internal investigation though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huge investigation for a week. And then the owner was like,
the
sleuthing was happening.
Internal investigation in wrestling. What does that mean?
The Department of the Interior.
They're getting each other's faces and hitting each other and then Sabrina.
I'm sorry.
The sleuthing had begun, Sabrina. The sleuthing had begun. But for CM Punk
Law and
fans,
Order SVU.
I hope they did too. But for CM Punk fans out there, you're probably upset about this, but anybody else probably whatever. And it's but I mean, it's big to the entertainment industry because it's big to wrestling, which is also entertainment. It's not really wrestling. It is wrestling, but it's entertainment based. So hence why WWF became World Wrestling Entertainment. So
can we expand on this just a little bit, Brian? I don't know if everybody, I don't know if everybody in the comments is familiar with this, or everybody at large is with the concept of kayfabe. Rachel, Sabrina, you guys know what kayfabe
I've heard of
is?
it. Yes, being a personality, being a
you pretend that it's real, right? You're doing an entertainment thing, but the fact that people are willing to come give you money and continue to pay is contingent upon the fact that they believe that it's the real deal. So unlike the serious animosity and aggression that we have for each other all the time on Cruise Control, which is very, very serious and mean-spirited and continue way into reality.
That's only when I've had too much to drink on a Friday, okay, Mike? Stop trying to make it all the time.
It's very early in the show. It's very early.
At you, Sabrina. We're a feisty bunch. We're a feisty bunch. Cruise Control is a feisty bunch. You can put that on record. I personally, I haven't been a massive wrestling fan, but I've been learning a little bit more. I should have been. The improvisational theater that these people have been doing is incredible, but also, the guys are injecting steroids.
Thanks, Coley.
It gets
100%.
Oh yeah, they are. That's a whole thing.
It's aggressive,
HGH to the fucking extreme.
And it's really interesting. I'm listening to the Behind the Bastards podcast. They did a series on Vince McMahon that was really interesting. There's a Hulu series.
Heels is that. Well, that's different thing.
What is it? There's
a Heels show that's on Stars, but there's also Behind the Ring or Behind the Ring or behind
the
apron or
something, something like that.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring. That's what it is.
Yeah, on Hulu, and it's really interesting because they're interviewing
Japanese right now.
They're interviewing people that are in the industry, and they're talking about some events that are real, and of course they're continuing to try and sell a product. So it's so crazy the level of misinformation and disinformation that they're trying to sell you because it's still a product, but they're feeding in little bits of reality, which just is making it really, really compelling for me to at least look back into it from that perspective. So Brian, I'm kind of wondering what your take on the whole CM Punk situation is, because I think violence does happen. These people are in high pressure situations.
This happens all the time backstage.
Didn't they fire that other guy who does DDP yoga now? Who the fuck was that guy they fired?
DDP?
No, the guy who does DDP yoga. Like he transformed him.
Well, Scott Hall and Jake the Snake, they fired both them too.
No, not Jake the Snake.
But Scott Hall.
That was like when I was 6. Like what? I mean.
But he transformed. But Scott Hall too was like raging. Oh, you're talking about Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell. Buff is a stuff.
That's what I was talking about.
Too. Like he was just fighting backstage too. He had a chance and he came out there and he started
and he was huge at the time as well. It's very similar to this story. Do that. And by the way, just on the record, I can give a fuck less about any of that information that I'm passing on to you. It's just something that I happen to know and related to the topic, just to be clear.
Rachel's all about this, Rachel. Right?
You know, I'm a huge fan of violent sports with naked men rubbing on each other.
It took me a long time to get into
that. Is not gaying it up.
But Rachel, like someone that starts like
flavor of gay. It's the other flavor of gay.
It's like outside of the script though. Outside the script, they're getting into fights. Like that's not called for. That's like work violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's inappropriate. They should be fired for something like this. And it doesn't matter who you are. It's workplace violence. It doesn't matter who you are. It shouldn't matter. I think that's a big thing for them to be like, hey, this doesn't stand. You know, you shouldn't be fighting other people. Like, yes, we fight in the ring, but we have that all planned out. Like shit happens, but you can't be making issues backstage, right? One of the energy drink. Yeah, you did.
You need to be professional. That's it. At any workplace, you just need to be professional at the end of the day.
Be a pro.
Hi, Mike's mom.
Hey. but be a pro. CM Punk wasn't being a pro. And so mom Michelle. And then what happens?
You should be in charge of all of our slogans.
He gets fired. You know, he gets fired. That's what happens. And somebody else that got fired, though, that might come back is little Johnny Depp, because there's a new Pirates coming, everybody. This came out for. We've talked about these projects before, but now apparently Pirates 6 is actually moved forward. They have a script. It's all ready to go. So when the strike is done, they're ready to get back into it and shoot Pirates 6. There's also the spinoff of with Margot Robbie, which was like the females Pirates that was supposed to be coming too. Now, before they said it was canceled, Margot Robbie had a whole thing, said we had an idea. We were developing it for a while, ages ago, she said, to have this more of a female lead type Pirates movie, but a different kind of story, which we thought would have been really cool. But I guess they don't really want to do it. But Bruckheimer said, hey, that's not dead. It's still, hold on, we're still working on that. That still could happen. But Pirates 6 is happening from the creator of The Last of Us. The creator of The Last of Us, Craig Manzin created this whole thing. He wrote it along with the original Pirates writer. And together they've made this. And the last Pirates came out, Dead Man Tell No Tales, in 2017. So it's been a little bit since we got a Pirates movie. I mean, they made over $1 billion, the whole franchise. Of course, they made so much money. And it's a big thing for them. And Johnny Depp had all the controversy. They fired him. They said he'd never come. He said never come back. He's out. They pay me, what was it, $300 million in a pack of llamas or something?
He badmouthed him a little bit, didn't he? When they dropped him from the contract?
Oh yeah,
Johnny?
Totally. Yeah, he was.
He said he wouldn't take the job again if they gave him like $1 million
alpacas or something.
And then they wrote him a check for $100 million, and he said,
he was like, "I'll see you on Monday."
All right.
I mean, Bruckheimer
savvy, brother.
Bruckheimer said not all Bruckheimer said about him coming back. We've said, okay, the future is yet to be decided. He said that was his quote about Johnny Depp coming back. So, I mean, I think again, you don't announce this until later.
But that was in May of 2022, and then in December of 2022, once the whole Amber Heard shit got sorted out, he went on the record saying he would love it if Johnny came back, but it's ultimately not up to him. It's up to Disney.
And Johnny. If Johnny wants to come back,
it's up to the audiences. It's up to what the people.
The
with
audience,
money
obviously. Who else is going to be Captain Jack Sparrow? Like, are you kidding?
The smart money.
If you're on my penis,
money back. Whatever.
If you're gonna carry the penis, you better bring Johnny Depp back in. That's what I'm saying.
Let's go to Rachel fast. Rachel, what's your hot take on this? Do you think they're good? Do you think Johnny Depp should come back, or do you think they should make another one?
I think the entire film is pointless. It's not about Johnny Depp or not. I think it's the franchise started strong and then has just been a solid slope downwards.
True.
Nobody wants more of these movies. It started good. We like the original ones, but the later ones, nobody cares about. Nobody talks about them. Nobody likes them. Why are we making another one other than to continue to just funnel money, I guess, into it? But I think
they make money
really hard.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean,
they still make money, which is shocking, but they still continue to make money.
Why do they make money? Who cares?
Because people still
do.
like to.
I've not heard anyone say anything good about the last one.
Yeah, the last one was all right. Jack Sparrow.
Was that the one with Javier Bardem?
Yeah.
Now the spinoff.
It's an impression.
Or the retake with Margot Robbie. I feel like is still unnecessary, but it has Margot
Mike and
Robbie
Rachel,
in
you
it.
need a drink.
I will in 1 second. It still has Margot Robbie in it, so it will make billions of dollars. So
Right.
That's true. Like now that might actually, especially the way her career has been going. I mean, she's been big for a long time, but now
she's surging with Barbie
right now. Yeah.
But this was all before Barbie. Like this whole conversation was before Barbie, like everything. And now she might be like, fuck you, I don't want to make that movie.
But
she might be like, no, thank you. I have other things to do.
But the thing is, it's like,
just add a zero. That's all you gotta do.
Oh no.
The thing is, like Ty's saying,
I already put that up.
People loved him though. That's the thing. Like Ty's saying, people love him. That's why I think people go see it.
I love him.
Yeah, he was a good character in the first few movies. Like
he's
He's just kind of a waddling
he's amazing.
Guy. Like, is it that interesting?
No one else could pull that off. I loved it. I thought it was great. And even in the shitty movies, he was still spectacular and that character 100% for me.
The later movies were just a platform to shove him into.
Mike's gonna get
what did I say? What did I say about Wednesday?
No, you were just talking about how sexy Johnny Depp is.
No, I said he was a beautiful person inside. He's a beautiful person inside is what I said. Don't turn it around on me.
There's a lot of really good people. We don't need to give them a bunch of sequels.
This would be Pirate 6, by the way.
For me, it's like it's a little bit of a fuck you to Amber Heard, which I think she needs and should be put in check because she is a horrible person for doing what she did. And the second part to that is like, I think it would kind of be funny for Disney, who is a multi-billion-dollar company who owns like most of Hollywood. They own fucking Fox. They own fucking
Marvel.
They're like and Star Wars. Yeah, they're like a monopoly. Yeah. They're like a monopoly of like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, I feel like it'd be great for them to eat their fucking words and have him come back after they're like, oh, I wouldn't do, for him to come back and be like, I own you, bitch. Like, I like that aspect of it, which is the vindictive person in me, which is not nice, obviously. But I just feel like that would be a good, it would be a victory for him because he was dragged through the mud for no reason with this whole case. And I just think that it would just be nice poetic justice for like this to happen. And also I would never watch a Six movie if he wasn't in it. Not that I'm jazzed to watch it anyway, but if he's in it, I'll watch it, I
didn't see
and it's a big, but this is a hero's journey thing though. At this point, it's like his comeback for him to come back and do this. There's got to be some big reason now with Big Rachel.
Rush was so good. Put him in a DC movie. That would be the biggest fuck you to Amber Heard because she got fired from them.
Put him in Aquaman.
He wasn't in contract for a DC movie at the time. Like he got released from from Pirates because of that. Well, and so it's a different
allegedly.
thing.
They never really gave a full reason on it because they want to cover their asses. They could have.
You're right. It is allegedly. 100% allegedly. But allegedly. James Gunn, what's up, James
allegedly.
Gunn? Are you listening? Allegedly, put him in a DC movie.
But also, they're calling this movie. Craig Manzin was saying about this movie, though, he said it's so weird it surprised him that Disney actually bought it too. So it's like, I wonder if he had an idea for Johnny to be here or if it's like a completely weird different thing. Mike, so do you think that this shouldn't be happening? Or do you think they should continue forward? Because it sounds like they want Pirate 6 regardless.
Shouldn't, butts in seats is the question, guys, isn't it? Like, what however they think that they can make money is what they're going to do. And I agree with Sabrina that I'm not watching it unless Johnny's involved. I agree with Rachel in that it's just been going downhill. I think if Johnny's not involved, it's going to be
if they made one with Keira Knightley, I'd watch it. I'd be way more compelled to watch a new one with Keira Knightley in it.
Keira Knightley, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, but they're all tied together. Oh my God, please play Lonely Island. That song is so
Jack
great.
Sparrow. It's a good song.
Michael Bolton.
So great.
Like Michael Bolton.
I mean, I think they're gonna pay him a boatload of money, and he's gonna come back. Like, totally. What I think is interesting about this, actually, and we'll kind of see the way that this plays out in our Kang situation too.
Yeah,
is big producers, big
actors,
densities of capital. No.
Densities of capital. I got it. Yeah. I got it now.
They're just sitting still until the justice system catches up with them.
Yeah.
They just wait. They're like
just holding out. We'll see what happens.
It makes
You know
sense.
what? I think
Cancel
Johnny
culture
Depp
isn't
should
real,
stick to his guns. I think Johnny Depp should stick behind his morals of saying that he would not take a job back with them.
I'm into that too, if that's what he wants. But I also think it would be like a kind of like have your cake and eat it too.
Poetic justice,
like you tried to do this to me, and like, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's something about that I really like for some reason. And it's probably not a great reason. It's definitely not a moral reason.
I would like him to come
like
back,
it.
but I mean, I can't imagine without him. But yeah, you're right, Rachel. It's like, it's at the point you're like, well, maybe he should just be done with all this, because they did fire him like a bitch too, which was really unfortunate. Like,
Really
it was
the moral voice of cruise control. I think that this is a great role.
I don't want to interrupt anybody's thought, but can anyone tell me when was the last time that Johnny Depp had a hit? Racer X would like to know.
Well, the last time Johnny had a hit.
What was the last time he had a super popular movie?
Right?
Yeah,
well, not the last Pirates movie. That was definitely not like a huge hit.
But besides that, he really hasn't had anything that's been big. No, Ursula. Pirates won. Oh man, Johnny. I mean, the Willy Wonka one didn't go over well.
No, that did not go well. But he does have a very good
Rum Diaries. Man,
Rum Diaries was subpar, but that was a passion project about Hunter S. Thompson.
They don't have to be great if you're consistently making an additional $50 million. The people that are putting money into you don't care. I wouldn't imagine.
That's true. That's why they keep making crap. But I don't want that to be like this.
The Lone Ranger was terrible, and we can all.
Oh yeah, Lone Ranger too.
So bad. That was. I mean, I don't even know how that was a thing.
White paint on his face, which is the only rider in his contract at this point.
Oh.
No, like Willy Wonka, Lone Ranger.
That's boogie, you know.
I get what you're saying. It was. I think Rachel misunderstood what you were saying.
And Lexi asked in the chat too about the Margot Robbie one. Yeah, Margot Robbie. They have a whole script for that too. Apparently with a female-led.
Oh, the Whitey Bulger movie was really good. I'm sorry, Lexi popped that in the comments.
Thank you, Lexi. I'm sorry. I came off the comments to try to Google what Johnny Depp's last hit was, because I feel like I just can't come up with it.
I don't think it was a box office hit though. It was just a good movie.
Well, nothing was about. He's had a big one.
Well, Pirates is a huge box office situation, but he's never been that type of a person. He's never been that type of an actor. He actually steered away from doing like the leading man type of thing to do things like Edward Scissorhands or like Benny and June, like that. He didn't
face paint in that movie he had.
I think he needs to find something. He should get in the DCU or the MCU or something like that, and figure it out and get in there and like find a nice villain or something for him to play. I think that could be fun.
Find a segue or something in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I think
throw
that'd be a lot
him
of fun.
and Tim Burton and Danny Elfman in a room. Something will happen.
Maybe
you'd have some fantastic
on the new Beetlejuice. I feel like he'd be a great addition.
Well, yeah, there was that whole rumor about him and Jenna Ortega, together scene, and he said he wasn't in it though, too. But like Rachel said, that I would say if they had that music of fucking Danny Elfman, all that he's made to add to Tim Burton stuff, it's so good because music is it's so important to a lot of people. And I want to talk about some more music because AI apparently is getting into music, everybody. And this came out, and I laughed about this when I first heard about it, but AI actually took and made a new song, and it collaborated The Weeknd and Drake, and it, according to this guy who's going by the name of Ghostwriter online, wrote the lyrics actually, and then he used AI to make their voices come together to do a duet, and he released this track, and the track is actually called Heart on My Sleeve, and he submitted it for the Grammys. Now, the Grammys actually said that
it's AI?
Well, yeah, it's AI that took their voices and put them together, but the guy wrote it, and since the guy wrote it, we don't know who this person is, a ghostwriter person. It was going big online, but the thing was, there are a lot of copyright issues here because they never had permission to have this music and put it together. So Drake never knew, The Weeknd never knew, so they've been actually going after having it pulled online, pulled offline, pull it, take it down everywhere. They keep putting it back up, but he submitted it for the Grammys, and apparently it was going through this process where they said, hey, it could actually be submitted because it was actually written by someone, even though AI put their voices together. So a whole thing that was going down. So the AI generated song was going crazy online. Now they were saying online, actually, an interview with the New York Times, this came out, where was it Harvey Mason Jr., who was running the Grammys, said that absolutely it's eligible because it was written by a human. But now the Grammys came forward and said, even though it was written by a human, the vocals were not legally used. It wasn't legally taken into consideration. No one was contacted. And the fact that it wasn't, like, the rights weren't brought in legally, they cannot accept it for the Grammys. But originally they were saying they were going to do it.
That's explicitly siding with the Writers Guild, is it not?
Yes, 100%.
Well, it's also explicitly bullshit if you don't have permission to use people's likeness or voice or whatever the fuck. Like, you can't. How can you possibly try to get recognition for stealing something?
Well, the best rap song, Sabrina, and Song of the Year, was actually submitted for, which are both, again, the guidelines say whoever wrote it. It's not about the person who performed it, it's the writer. And that's why they were saying before they were considering it.
Didn't perform it. It's a
no, the writer though.
computer.
I know, but who wrote it though? That was the question. They said, well, it was written by a human. It was written by this ghostwriter guy, and ghostwriter wrote it.
Ridiculous.
And then he AI'd their voices together. So that's why they were considering. But they're like, by the end of the day, they're like, no, we can't take, because if it would have been legally taken into consideration,
that would have changed the course of everything.
It would have been a very bad precedent.
Yes,
huge.
100%. But the fact that this happened makes me think that down the line, they're going to be open to this in a lot of ways. Let AI get involved with these award shows, which again is a slippery slope, which again is what everyone's fighting for.
AI host.
Like Mike said, AI hosts, they have the AI news online. I've seen that on YouTube, but it's like, hello, welcome to the news today.
Like
we will be talking about Johnny Depp. You know, it's like, it's all that.
Sampling, you need to get permission.
You have to get permission to sample. That is true. But good point. But you definitely do have to get permission to sample.
Well, it just depends. Yeah, but it just depends too. It's like, look at Weird Al, because he was doing parodies. He actually didn't have to have permission.
I think you'd have to pay royalties though.
Yes,
I don't think you need permission, but you need to pay
no,
money.
I think you need both. I think you do need permission, and then you have to pay royalties. Like you broker a deal in some way. I think
if you're sampling, but if you're parodying, it's a whole different thing. Because remember, Weird Al was talking about
Weird
Al would still ask
on this. Like,
Weird Al didn't get any Grammys.
No, but he would still. I know, but he would still ask, and when they got permission, then you do the song as opposed. But he could have just done it. He did it multiple times. He didn't have to ask for permission. He could have done it.
He was nice.
Yeah.
This is almost like someone doing an impression. Except for it's a robot doing the impression.
Speaking of impressions, no, I'm just kidding.
Except they're actually using their performances, right? So it's different.
They're not using their performances. What this person did is they took the lyrics, they put it into AI and said, "Hey, make it sound like Drake and The Weeknd performed."
To make it sound like it, though, they used input a data set that was based on their actual voices. Though, is the thing.
Some tomfuckery behind the scenes there, but it's not like taking clips of their voice and sampling it in. It's taking the tones and frequencies and retooling.
Right, but you feed that into the
it's
AI.
Weird as shit.
It's a slippery slope
now. Because voices are not fundamentally copywritten as of right now, because they're you're listening to my voice right now. So like if a computer were to aggregate my voice and put it through AI with the words that I'm saying right now, it could make me do a duet with Drake.
I want to hear it.
But
that might be fun for your birthday party, but not fun for a Grammy. Like, I mean, where do you draw the line?
It's weird. It's because if this person had gotten a human being to perform this vocalizations, then this song would still be eligible. So it's like teetering this weird line, because the AI didn't write the song or the music behind the song. It just made the voices.
Oh, okay. So the lyrics were generated by this
dude right here.
This guy with the sheet on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like a very questionable human being. Let's be clear.
Instrument.
Not a good outfit. Not a good outfit, bud. And why do you have a fan coming out of your head?
The person with the poor fashion choices here wrote the words. They wrote the music behind it.
Way to politically say it, Rachel. High five. Start with the poor fashion choices. High five. That's literally like the best way that you could ever say that. That was amazing. Thank you. Poor fashion choices. And a fan on your head.
And the fan on their head. So they wrote the words, they wrote the music. The only thing the AI did was put a voice in. So theoretically, this person could go back, re-record this song with a human voice, and then still be eligible.
100%. You're right.
That would be fine. But the fact that it's not
a weird
your
world
voice.
we live in, and I hate it.
It's not an amazing song.
This is it sounds like
standard strip club kind of. Not that I go to strip clubs. I don't do.
I agree, Racer X.
Oh, you don't go to
actually owns a strip club.
Like it's really not that innovative or interesting at all. Like it's
Blame
great,
on the Rain is Milli Vanilli.
But also, girl, you know it's true.
Good girl. Is that Milli Vanilli?
Yeah, it is. Remember that? That's how they had their whole thing when they found they were lip syncing, because there was like, girl, you know, it's girl, you know, it's girl, you know, like, oh, girl, you know, it's
out of all of us, you should remember that the most. Oh my God, Brian, come back.
I remember blaming on the rain. I think Brian's gonna blow a fuse any second now. Any second now.
They were on stage, just like they did. On stage. No fuses.
I just remember
no
blaming on the rain.
fuse.
And one of them actually killed himself, so I feel very bad for the
I think the
gentleman.
Other one, passed from HIV, which is sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's also gone? Wow, okay.
But Sabrina, do you think
Milli Vanilli, rest in peace. Also, don't steal
R.I.P.
like, other people's shit.
R.I.P. Milli Vanilli.
Very weird. That was a very weird situation.
Sabrina, do you think
Very
that this could be
popular, too.
something that becomes more uniformly like done, and that more people are trying to use AI to get into the Grammys and get awards, even though they're like, it's not technically their rights?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Lexi said Milli Vanilli were real musicians and the music was real, but the men fronting the band were not singers; they were lip syncing. But does that make it okay? It is, but also does that make it okay?
Yeah.
So like this guy technically made the music and made the words, but he just made the AI make it sound like
like that.
The Weeknd and Drake.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very slippery slope. I don't like any of it. I think like, if you're talented enough to write this and do this, maybe get Weeknd and Drake, or get two people who are not Weeknd and Drake.
People love the song online too.
Just up. Just text him.
Like,
what's
like
up?
Drake.
So I mean, if you have something that's almost hold on.
Thank you.
If you have something that's almost like Grammy worthy, like maybe you can contact their managers and be like, "Hey, I have this track that's really dope. Can you listen to it?" Like, who knows? I mean, shit like that happens. You know, and other than that, like if you can't do that, or if it doesn't work out, or they're like, screw that guy who I don't know that's wearing a sheet, which by the way, I can blame you.
Girl, you know it's true.
Maybe then be like, okay, let me get these two other super talented people and have them do the song, and then I don't know. It's just I don't think AI is the way.
I don't think this person had bad intentions. I think this person was just fucking around, put it on TikTok, and it got way out of control.
But how did it become how do you submit? Who submitted to the Grammys?
It's a huge thing on TikTok to
Ghostface
to use AI to make different artists
Touchy Ghost
say things.
Not Touchy Ghost.
Like, I think it's
is that you?
Spiraled out of control.
I'm just saying, like, if it were you, if you were the singer of the song, Rachel, let's say Rachel and Mike had a duet. And then I decided I'm going to wear a sheet and I'm going to write some stuff and I'm going to do some things. And I'm going to somehow computer generate both of your voices to sing a duet and then get nominated for a Grammy. Wouldn't you be like, what the actual fuck?
Give me my money, bitch.
I mean,
Show me the money.
I would
show me the money.
Get the money from it, but like I have a good humor. So like I would personally be fine with it. I think Drake's kind of an asshole. So he's probably just being a dick about it.
I don't care for him at all, to be perfectly honest. But that's really not the issue.
If you let it slip at all, it's going to be.
That's it. Then it sets a precedent. It sets a precedent.
It's one thing after. It's a snowball effect.
Right now, it's an individual creative. In the future,
Mm-hmm.
no snowballing talk. In the future,
we're done.
It will be producers that are actively stealing our voices.
But then also it's gonna keep happening, and it's gonna it's gonna create this whole new category of things. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna create nothing but issues for any industry, for music, for actors.
It'll be good artistically.
They need to lay down some guidelines because
yes, like hide your kids, hide your wife. Okay, fine.
Hide your wife.
But
it's like auto-tune, but that person talking, but that Antoine Dotson, he made hundreds of thousands of dollars on that. You're not hurting anyone.
Just set guidelines with impressions, because at the end of the day, this is a computer doing an impression of a person.
The impression, the guidelines, though, Rachel's you drink after an impression.
So we need to get the ghost person to drink, and then
get your coconut up, lady.
Speaking of the ghost person, though, Mike Casey, I know you're underneath that. I know that's you. So Touchy Ghost, why did you do this? And do you think that you could have got away with it if it wasn't for those damn kids?
What?
If it weren't for those damn kids, I don't know. Do I smell a segue? Was there somewhere you were going with that?
That's what I thought.
I just saw Touchy Ghost and Ghost Mike. Maybe Mike did it.
I'm such a touchy ghost. If it weren't for those damn kids, because I like to swear in Scooby-Doo.
Mike's like, this is not me.
He's
This
a
is
Scooby-Doo
not
villain
me.
right now.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
100%.
sometimes you get pimped and sometimes you're
Look,
feeling it. And
I'm going
sometimes
to say
you get
really
pimped and
quickly,
you're not.
between two famous dudes, you look the sharpest. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Between The Weeknd and Drake, with a little picture of Mike in the middle, if I had to pick one, I'd have picked you. So you win.
I swear to God,
this
you
is-
could show me 10 pictures of The Weeknd and I would not know who the fuck that guy is. Like, at all.
Well,
Maybe
Rachel,
because he toured a whole album with like a fake broken nose and like black
Sure.
eyes and like makeup. Like, what are you doing?
somebody that I hope that everybody knows who they
Right,
are is
right.
John Lennon, because John Lennon apparently has a biopic coming out. That's right, a biopic about John Lennon is actually in development, which I think would be great because he did have a great career, tragic ending. And, you know, if you're going to do something, then people might say, like, why are we doing this? But I think that it could be good. I mean, I don't know who's going to play John Lennon. It might be very tough, but the film would focus on the immediate period after
Daniel
the Beatles
Radcliffe.
breakup. Fuck yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
But right after they break up the Beatles, that's supposed to take place, tackling Lennon's solo career and his relationship with Yoko Ono. That's apparently where they're saying something about. Ono is actually a consultant and a producer on the film. Craig Lipsey, Lars and the Real Girl, I, Tanya, Cruella is attached to be the director. And they had that 2009 movie Nowhere Boy. It stars Aaron Tyler Johnson. But it's going to be something different from that, apparently. It's actually going to dive into his life, his relationship, and where his career went until his actual death via, that fucking tragic day we had with him losing his life. But for me, I'm like, I mean, it sounds like it could be kind of interesting, especially because a lot of people don't know his story. And now at times passed a long time. I know Sabrina's a big Beatles fan, though. So I don't know, Sabrina, would you want to see something like this? Do you think it's fine to tap it? I know you love John Lennon. Do you think it'd be good to actually have someone portray him and make a movie based off his life after the Beatles?
I mean, if it's done well, abso-fucking-lutely. If it's done poorly, then it's a disservice to his existence as an amazing human being and also a huge contributor to the evolution of rock and roll. So I guess it just depends. Racer X, absolutely. I agree with you 110%. I love that fucking shirt. I own it.
He's looking at you, Sabrina.
I have a picture. Yeah, hey, buddy. Am I going the wrong way? Is it this way? I can't tell.
There you go,
I'm
that
not
way,
looking at
yep.
the camera. Is it this way?
That way.
This way. It doesn't look that way on the screen, which is very confusing. I agree with Racer X. The Beatles, I don't think they wouldn't have existed. I don't think they wouldn't have been as talented or as successful, I guess I should say. And I do think that the Beatles had a very big evolution.
Very talented.
And it evolved with the music itself. They started very poppy and boy bandy, and then they like kind of went into like a drug phase, and the actual, right? Yeah, and the actual music itself was it was a shift in the way things were done at that time. Same thing with like Bob Dylan. Like we like brought electric basically into rock. Like there's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened without a band like the Beatles, and there was always like Beatles or the Stones. And like, it's not that I don't like the Stones. I think they're also wildly talented, but that evolution is not there in their music. It's all great, but there's not that evolution like of the times and with the times, and I just, John Lennon's always been my favorite Beatle. If they do it right, I would really, really love to fucking see it, honestly.
Yeah, I think it could be great.
But it's going to be hard. I nominate Daniel Radcliffe, though. I think he could nail John Lennon.
He's short, but man, I think he can do anything he wants.
Yeah, fuck yeah, John. Yeah.
He's got the facials.
But can he sing? I mean, Daniel Radcliffe, does he sing? I don't know. But
we have a question. Is anybody an Elvis fan here?
Yeah, Elvis is freaking great.
For the film.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Racer X, the artist or the film?
Elvis the person, Elvis the music, Elvis the film.
Yeah, those are three very different questions.
Very big questions. Yeah. Yes, Mike, get in there.
Let us know and we'll answer your question.
Elvis the music, thumbs up. Elvis the film.
Elvis music.
Thank you. I'm of the same boat. Do we know this Racer X character?
No, we don't, but thank you for joining us. Love you.
Like
thank you for being here.
Avatar.
I like your energy. You're asking good questions. You're doing good things.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here.
Bring it on, brah.
But when you give us
is a good point to bring up. I think every single Elvis biopic has not done it well. There has not been a true good Elvis biopic. And I think I have the same concerns with John Lennon. We have this tendency to overly romanticize people that we admire. And these are human beings at the end of the day. John Lennon was a very flawed human being at the end of the day. No matter how good of an artist he was, he had a lot of personal problems. And if you overlook those personal problems, you're not telling his story faithfully and accurately. And it's the same problem that we've seen with every single biopic that has come out in the last 10 years, basically, where we just overly sugarcoat, overly romanticize, and leave out the ugly parts. And I think it's very important to include the ugly parts. And that's my biggest concern with the John Lennon biopic, is people really tend to over romanticize him a lot, more than most other pop culture figures.
Really?
He
was a little heavy-handed with a couple of women, at least on a couple of documented occasions, right? Is that not the case?
So like, and him and his son had
Julian.
He was abusive towards his son at points, from what I understand, and women.
I think he was just absent with his son. I don't think he was abusive. I don't know.
I mean, it's not physically abusive, but it is not.
Right.
It's not.
But I mean,
just
coming from, trust me, I know. Believe me, I'm a product of that. But like, from going from like being like he was heavy-handed with women to saying that he was abusive to his son. I was just assuming that was the same relation. So I was just clarifying that.
Sabrina's tongue struck.
We have Yoko Ono as one of the producers, so I think that Rachel's concern rings very strong, especially in terms of like
really protective over his legacy, which I respect
100%.
as his wife. I respect that as somebody who cared about him.
Can I just have one quick point, Rachel, before you go on, very quickly? She also is largely said the person who broke up the Beatles.
People say that.
Right, exactly.
People do say that.
Another confounding factor.
But like, I do feel like Yoko Ono kind of got too much shit just for being a woman around a powerful man. But that's like a whole different conversation.
I do wonder,
I think he was just desperate.
You guys are all fans. Like, I'm a big fan of John Lennon's post Beatles output, like Double Fantasy.
Me too. Double Fantasy is great
album. I guess I wanted to ask you guys how you felt about that.
No, I mean, I love Double Fantasy. I just feel like she got a lot of flack, like Rachel was saying. Like, I'm like kind of bringing it back to her, I guess, but like, because he fell desperately in love with her and that's all he wanted. And they were upset that he didn't want to be as involved and doing all of the things that he had been doing for so many years. And that what he did through his first wife, like he was just, he wanted to be with her. He wanted to spend, 7 days in bed to support peace. He wanted to do all of these, weird things that like they were not used to him being that way. And like, I think that people are threatened by change and they're they tend to blame people who are probably not culpable for that. You know what I mean?
And the Beatles may have just run their course by that time. It may have been a time for them to go their own separate ways and do their own separate projects. And I feel like Yoko Ono gets a lot of really undue hate for that.
But exactly what Razor X said in the chat. Yeah. Holler.
But we wouldn't have great songs like I got my mindset on you. Like, what I mean? You might get songs like that,
George Harrison.
Oh, George Harrison. I mean, you wouldn't get that song though, too, because they broke up when that happened,
MS Paint art.
What?
Look up Ringo Starr MS Paint art. It is fantastic.
I think their music also does still hold up, Razor X, honestly.
I think it totally holds up, and I think
he literally is the least talented person in the Beatles by far, and he got that job by default. But he is like still there the whole entire time, like this.
I will be a Ringo apologist until I die.
I love Ringo.
I love him. I have no problem saying.
Leave Ringo alone.
Leave Ringo alone.
Don't Britney.
Leave Ringo alone. Leave Ringo alone.
Leave Ringo alone. And one regular drum and one cymbal.
Leave Ringo alone.
I think this film will be about as accurate as Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, and that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that.
Yeah, well, I just think Austin Butler. I feel like
that's not the case.
I feel like Austin Butler. He did it all right as Elvis, but overall, I'm like, it was a lot.
His acting was fine. It was the writing of the story.
They left out a lot of the things. Right.
Yeah, and it was missing something for me.
And Yeah.
I like Baz Luhrmann, but I just it's a
But
lot
that
for
was
me.
like back then. That wasn't like, I mean, people were like
Back then she was
betrothed to
still
be
14. It wasn't
right, but
okay
people
then.
were betrothed to be married at that age in many cultures at that time. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing.
Not America.
Well, not in America, but I'm just saying that is the thing. Like
that was
I'm
the
not
world.
defending it. I'm not defending it at all.
That was that world. It's like get married early, have kids.
He sure did.
And get, and live that kind of life and, and be good to God. That's what it was. Because if you're not good to God, Jamie Foxx will come after you because Jamie Foxx is playing God, everybody. That's coming down. So they just announced this movie's actually already done, by the way. Already done, already shot it before the strike. They just announced everything that it's actually be coming out. Jamie Foxx playing God, and who is his devil? Mickey Rourke. That's right. Mickey Rourke is the devil.
Sounds about right.
And he's, battling with alcoholism and Botox, and he's fighting Jamie Foxx. But Jamie Foxx
wearing spandex, so they have 9 chihuahuas with him. That's what I need to know.
Jamie Foxx has gone through so much shit, though. I'm happy to hear that he's doing better. He still has not said what's happened to him, but the fact that he actually shot this before, went back to work. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking great, I mean, Mike Tyson and him had a whole issue, but that's because he was Mike Tyson trying to say what happened, and James like, that didn't happen. So who even knows what he went through actually after all that? Because, Mike Tyson said it was a strike or a stroke, but like, who knows? But this is happening. This movie is coming forward. And the whole premise is that an ambitious young man is giving a holy mission from God, Jamie Foxx himself, to tell his family stories and inspire the community. His only concern is his family and his community. Now, what he doesn't know is that the devil himself has his own plans against this. So now we got Mickey Rourke, we got Jamie Foxx. They haven't said who was playing the other person, but this is done.
Who is the other person?
Who's
Moses?
the young man? Who's the ambitious young man? I don't know. But film writer and director Johnny Mack is doing this. And Mickey Rourke, of course, we know him from a million things. Like The Wrestler was big. It's a comedy. It's a comedy. Okay. Yep. It's a comedy. And the actual director said the name talent that come together for this fun comedy, Sabrina, is
fun comedy.
Unprecedented. Where you see all the actors having fun, especially Fox playing God. So yeah, I mean, I think it's of course it's called Not Another Church Movie. So of course that alone makes you say, hey, it must be a comedy. But Jamie Foxx playing God, a parody, it's a parody.
Along the lines of Not Another Teen Movie, Not Another Superhero Movie, not a lot of. It's we don't need this. It's gonna be terrible.
Rachel, tell them what you think. So even
That's
Jamie
true.
Foxx and Mickey Rourke won't save this, right?
True.
You do always end up offending somebody, but that's just how life rolls. But this, I just don't think we need any more Not Another movies. Let it die. I thought we were done with this in the mid 2000s. I thought we called it a day.
Oh my.
But Jamie Foxx is, I mean, he can transform into anything.
Why would you pick that?
And then you got Mickey Rourke here, who again, he's a phenomenal actor, but
it's unnecessary. This movie is gonna be terrible. It's not gonna be funny. It's gonna be all poop jokes. Like
that's what Jamie Foxx says to you. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It could be a lot of poop jokes. I mean, but I don't know if it'll if it'll touch on religion more and try to like bring some humor in that way, but I don't know. It's just a weird combination. If you ask me.
Somebody brought up Dogma. I don't remember who did.
I did,
but that was a really great example of a religious comedy. That's how you do a religious
very
comedy. Funny.
Yeah, Sabrina, do you think you agree with Rachel and this is not necessary? It's not going to be good, or do you find that there could be some good humor here with these two?
I mean, no, I don't. I don't. I'm not. I'm personally not a religious person. I encourage everyone to practice whatever they feel or whatever they like or whatever they have faith in. Like you do you. I'm just not a religious person. I can't. But I did mention the Chihuahua though, and there it is. It always looks like the opposite side. So yeah, no, I don't. I think like a spoof. Like if you're like the Passion of the Christ, definitely not for me. However, like it was nominated for Oscars. Like there was like, you know what I mean? So like art is subjective, as Lexi had actually said in the chat a few bits ago about something else. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna put it up. So I don't know. I love Jamie Foxx. I think he's very funny. I think that Mickey Rourke could be a good devil. Like, I mean, like, look at Little Nicky. Like, how ridiculous was that fucking movie? But I still
it has nothing to do with religion.
Right. It's
playing off the popular memes, right?
So if it's that way, then like maybe it's okay. Dogma is probably my favorite religious parody to date for sure. And there are several.
Little Nicky in there.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn. I feel weird like snap judging something that I don't know enough about. But my initial response is, why?
I'm gonna watch this shit. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna watch it. Why not? I like Mickey Rourke. I feel like he's gotten a lot of flack throughout the years, and he's a fucking great actor. He just went through a lot of shit. Meet the Spartans. You want to actually
that came out like towards the end of the parody film boom.
They can be a lot of fun.
I did not see it. It was good. Oh, all right, I'll watch it.
Mike, are you ready for Jamie Foxx to be your god? Or are you like, no, I don't want this?
Am I ready for
Mike? Are you going to worship Jamie Foxx?
Well, that's not going to be a change to my usual daily practice of facing west and worshiping Jamie Foxx. Facing Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, I it's really point well taken from the comments about about you don't want to get involved with religion, with these capitalistic enterprises of putting on a show, but also like. I don't think they're talking about like actually what believing people think when they think God or when they think the devil. I think they're like, oh, like, well, Morgan Freeman was an awesome hysterical god. Like,
that was also really good. Yes.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is an awesome hysterical god. Like, there's the philosophical concept and the way that people to organize their own selves. And also there's just the meme of the freaking white guy with the beard on the cloud that we've liked to subvert by making it a Morgan Freeman and Jamie Foxx. And of course there's the devil too, scary horns and tails. It is that maybe this is offending some religious people. I don't think
it could offend.
It's a meme. It's a meme that belongs to everybody, does it not?
I'm not. It does, absolutely. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but Ty, we're not saying it's funny, like, because it's supposed to be a comedy. Like, we're not saying it's going to be funny because, like, we like it is a comedy. Yeah. I just want
and that's in Jamie Foxx came from comedy.
Like you think we're making fun of it, but we're not.
That's the thing. He's a quadruple.
I just want to clarify that. That's all.
And that's why
actor, comedian, and now
that's why I was showcasing.
We love Jamie Foxx.
Was Jamie Foxx going to play Spawn?
I remember hearing something about that before in the past, but
that's great. Like,
they've gone back and forth because they're still trying to reboot Spawn now again.
The original one is so it's a lot.
I still like it.
Isn't it the one with John Leguizamo that was like in the oh my gosh, that movie is a lot.
He's like a little Weasley fucking guy. I'm gonna drink. Okay, I'll drink. Okay,
a lot.
The best religious-based content I've seen lately was the second season of Good Omens. That show's great. If you haven't watched it,
did not see that.
The Job
storyline of children are not replaceable.
Thank you, Brian.
Is pretty funny. I agree, Rachel. I enjoyed it myself.
I did not see that. It's called Good Omens.
Yeah.
Omens. It's written by Neil Gaiman.
My girl. She's in it.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh, that's still going? I see that on ALEXA all the time. I can't say it out loud or she'll start talking to us.
Yeah.
It's an Amazon product. It's on.
Yeah, and he has blonde hair like what's his name?
Yeah.
Michael. Oh.
It's got Michael Sheen.
Sheen.
Thank you.
Michael Sheen.
That's the guy.
And,
Michael Sheen is
early blonde locks.
Amazing. He's amazing.
One of the doctors. One of the Doctor Who guys.
Ryan says it's Friday. We've only drank 2 or 3 times. So everybody raise your glass for Ryan Bauer.
Let's do a toast to Danny Masterson's career because it's over with everybody.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it's over.
Danny Masterson
is going
to jail, everybody.
Go to hell, bro.
Do not collect go. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. He's going to jail for 30 years to life. And this was a whole thing that just came out, and it broke yesterday, and we knew he was convicted. It's into the sentencing yet. But now it's out, and apparently they were actually trying to fight. The defense was trying to say give him 15 to life, and then maybe get out earlier than that if they got that. And actually, Ashton Kutcher came forward. Mila Kunis came forward and wrote letters to the judge and were like, please give him less time because he doesn't deserve it. What they actually said, Mike. So the whole thing. So Mila Kunis said, okay, I wholeheartedly vouch for Danny Masterson's exceptional character and the tremendous positive influence he has had on me and the people around him. His dedication to leading a drug-free life and the genuine care that he extends to others make him an outstanding role model and friend.
What?
And Ashton Kutcher said,
Cosby'd you.
Yep. And Ashley Kutcher said, I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society and having his daughter raised without a parent.
Ongoing. She thinks he
Without
is a harm to society, just not ongoing.
Ongoing.
He used to be a harm.
But he said it's, without a, he brought up his daughter. He said without having a father present would be a injustice and of itself. And he said, thank you for taking time to read this.
So if you're a parent, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want and act like an asshole and rape people. Like, I'm sorry.
The actors who played Kitty and Red also.
Red, I fucking love them both. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure during
all four of them.
If you're
I'm fairly certain.
This all happened during that 70s
during
show.
No, it was after. It was in between that and the ranch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was closer to that 70s show. It was back. It was years ago.
But like on the very back end of that 70s show, and then like
the very end.
in between, like maybe the beginning of not even the beginning.
Well, no, it was
of the
way
ranch.
before the ranch. The ranch is years later.
Super recent, right?
Yeah, the ranch is years later.
I feel like it wasn't like how long has he been married to Bijou Phillips?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever it is, like
there must have been a hot tub involved, though. That's all I gotta say.
I can't be mad at someone who is friends with someone and shocked by something like this. Like to be like, I don't. This can't possibly be true. Like I can understand like a weird like blind side where like you weirdly think that like you there's no way that this happened.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I can see that in a weird, that show went on for a long time. Obviously, they all spent a lot of time together, but also, like, the evidence is fucking damning. It is so irrefutable. So, like, for you to see this being carried out and go through the trial and know what happened, like, there's no way that you should make any statement at all. And by the way, don't they have a reboot of that show happening right now? Like maybe don't say dumb shit because you're probably going to get canceled.
Yeah, I mean, he was convicted, Sabrina, of raping 2 women in 2003.
Yeah, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Red and Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe be quiet about that.
And Mila Kunis and Ashley Kutcher are like bazillionaires, so we don't care. But yeah, you're right. He will be out in 12 years.
Yeah, that's probably what'll happen. That's why they were trying for 15 because he'd probably be out in like 7.
But this is hilarious.
I guess I guess it was accepted in the 70s. You're right, Racer
X. Joke about that. It's not funny. That was a funny joke, but the act of what's happening is not funny.
I mean, he's not 100% wrong. That's all I'm saying. 100% wrong.
No, but also, I don't want to make it seem like I'm condoning this because that's a funny joke.
Yeah, but I just like, you hear this and it's like, the fact that he was convicted, we knew that the max sentencing was 30 plus years, 30 to life. That was the max sentencing, so they gave him the max. And that's why his defense was trying for 15. They thought with these character witnesses.
The evidence was strong, right?
I also really like
strong.
I like the fact that it shed light on Scientology and what they're doing there, and the fact that I
think it has a lot to do with Leah Remini and the fact and the light that she's brought to this. I know. I don't know if you guys are Mars Volta fans. I went to see them recently, but the lead singer of that band, Cedric Bixler Zavala, his wife, and I'm blanking on her name right now. It starts with an M. She was one of the victims of Danny Masterson, and he was briefly involved with said religion cult.
Sign something.
They poisoned their dog. Like, this is not an unfamiliar thing for if you're a big organization that's trying to hide abuses. Like, it's really sketchy, and I don't think that this was a lone situation. I think that Danny Masterson had a lot of people actually backing him up, lawyer wise, and potentially just guys, driving around poisoning dogs.
In Scientology, they teach you that everything that happens to you is your fault. So basically, like the women were all of Scientology as well. So like basically the women went to the church and said, hey, yeah, man, like I was fucking raped by this person. And they were like, no, you weren't. And they were like, wait, what? And they're like, no, you weren't. What everything that happens to you is your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault that it happened. Yeah. And you cannot go to the police. Like there was some like weird like urging of them not to go to the police. And like specifically because it would be a breach of their religious beliefs. And like anyone who is a Scientologist are like, they're like all fucking in. It's not like you go to church on like a couple Sundays and maybe like do confession once a year. Like that's not what it is. It's like actual like cultist behavior. And I'm sorry for anyone's gonna get mad at me for that, but like, it's just what they practice and what they are taught is that it is their fault. Whether you're a victim, whether you like, no matter what it is, it could be good or bad. Whatever it is that happens to you is your fucking fault. It's your doing. So if somebody rapes you, you somehow led that person to believe that they can do what they did to you, which is like literally the definition of victim.
And then
cheating.
it's on you.
Like I don't.
And then it's
Yeah,
your
and yet
fault.
it's on you,
It's
100%.
bananas. Which is not that
100%.
far from traditional thinking, or necessarily even like thinking at large now.
I bet a bunch did, Racer X.
Societal.
I think
It
a lot of
really
people feel
shouldn't
that
be.
way.
It really fucking shouldn't be.
You're like, oh, what
No,
were you wearing?
hold on.
What
No,
would
but for
you
you
do?
to
It's the same
for you to
argument,
feel
right?
that-
Right,
for
Rachel?
you to feel that way about yourself is one thing, right? Like for you to feel that way about yourself, like maybe I touched this guy's leg, or like I flirted with him, and that's my fault. For you to have your own inner turmoil about that is one thing, but for your higher power to tell you that is entirely another.
Let me get in there for one moment, just
Yeah.
because I've got a little bit of a background on this stuff.
Okay, please do.
A lot of it's built around the positive psychology movement. So some of these concepts that you are responsible for your own life and that you can do whatever you want and you're not bound by whatever is happening around you. These are concepts that can be used to really empower people. And a lot of the time when people encounter these concepts for the first time, they think that whoever gave them to them
100%.
has the answer. It's not
Yep.
the case. This is the same juice that everybody is selling.
Yep.
So it's, it can be good. The problem comes when you use the flip side of that coin, because you can get out of whatever sketchy situation you're in. You can make tomorrow a new day at every point in your life. I totally agree with that. The problem flips when you start to use that to blame people for things and say that the reason that you're in a sketchy situation is because
of you,
because of what you have done. And it's not like a real easy kind of thing to navigate necessarily. But I think that as long as, like, if we're doing the empowering thing and not the blaming thing, then we can use that.
It's
in
good.
A powerful,
right. But it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
And I also think that
in Scientology, in Scientology,
I think it's a bigger thing than notice than just Scientology. It's the entertainment industry. Racer was saying too, was like, how many people knew about this? I bet a lot of people knew about it, especially during that 70s show.
I mean, Kitty and Red didn't know about it. They're like making statements. I'm sorry, Rachel, what were you going to say?
There are almost certainly more victims.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Oh, guaranteed.
100%.
Yeah.
Are definitely, it probably at least 2 or 3 times more people, minimum.
They're systematically protecting celebrities too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
Paid off. People
all of
buy
them
into the sauce of it was your fault. People go,
Yep.
There's a million reasons why people don't report. Like only like 2% or 10%, somewhere really low percentage of sexual assault gets reported. And that number has to go down.
In Scientology, it's way smaller.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, because they're hiding it though too.
Factors. This man is a continuing danger to society, and I think
100%.
It's ridiculous for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis to go out there and make these statements. It's harmful.
It is kind of surprising.
It's ridiculous. Like, yes, it's hard to aggregate that somebody you cared about hurt people in a way that you can't imagine. But when you learn new information, you should adapt your feelings.
I agree.
You can deal with your feelings privately. You can say, hey, this man was really important in my life, but now, he did some really bad stuff and I have to cut off that connection. And that sucks for them, but they can't be out here publicly defending him.
But think about
Once
it
the evidence reaches a certain level, right?
I agree, 100%. 100% I agree. But just like think about if it was your brother or your sister, and they were like, "I didn't fucking do this. You know me. You know me. You know I didn't do this. Absolutely. This is fucking bullshit." And so like you may take this weird stance because it's like hard for you to process, especially in your posh Hollywood brain. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sticking up for any of them. I think none of them should have made any statement at all. Just keep quiet. Like just don't, like for you, for your career, for your life, like just don't say anything at all. But I just do see it, like, you know, I'm sure like Red and Kitty, I wish I knew their names. RoboCop, wasn't he RoboCop, Red?
He was in RoboCop. Fuck yeah, he was in RoboCop. He was a villain in RoboCop.
Like I feel like they should have just definitely kept their mouth shut. But I also feel like there's like some sort of like a fan, like this. These are my kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that he could have done that. There's no fucking way.
They were young. They were young when
fucking
they.
are scared of Xenu.
Like,
Everyone's scared of fucking Xenu.
I'm laughing like
dude,
this.
Ranger X, please tune in every show. You are hilarious.
Join us anytime.
I love it. Please subscribe. Please come back.
Everyone's scared of Xenu, and everyone's scared of Godzilla because there's a new Godzilla project coming forward, everybody, for Apple TV Plus. So if you are a fan of Godzilla, you're a fan of these monster movies, don't worry. You're getting 10 episodes on Apple TV Plus of Godzilla. And the new trailer is out. I want to talk about this for a second. Of course, this is part of the whole monster universe they're pushing forward on Apple TV Plus. Kurt Russell's in there with his son, Wyatt Russell. So who's actually playing the younger version of Kurt Russell in this series. So father and son duo together making this project come to life. Features a cameo from John Goodman, who was actually in reprising his role from Skull Island. It's Skull Island. Apparently he's a cameo. That's their saying. I don't think it's gonna be a big part of it. I think it's really about Russell's character, and it's following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that destroyed San Francisco, and the shocking revelation that monsters are fucking real. And it's called Monarch, and the legacy of monsters tracks down two siblings following their father's footsteps to uncover the family's connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Now, I guess, as I said, 10 episodes. It's coming out. And it's coming out November 17th. They're going to put 2 episodes at that time, drop them both, and then it'll be every Friday, get another episode. It's going to go all the way until January 12th. But this is cool. Like, I mean, it looks like they spent a lot of money on this. And it looks like they're actually going big and actually going like, hey, if we're going to make a Godzilla TV show, we know Apple TV Plus do not spare any expense. They don't spare any expense when they make these things.
Universe as Kong versus Godzilla, right?
Yeah, it's right there. It follows after the last one. It's all connected. I mean, it's all part of the same narrative, which is cool because they don't usually do this, Rachel. When they make these projects, it's like they come out and then the movies are different than the TV shows. It's always that way. It's like a whole different thing. The penis is not right. The penis is bent.
Something wrong with that.
It's broke and it's fucked up, and we need the right, straight, ready to go eye penis out there that all matches up and lines up with the regular
eye penis.
The girthy eye penis is what everybody wants,
and not necessarily straight.
Well, that's true. It could be leaning. You can verge off path a little bit, right? With the narrative, verge off path a little bit, but eventually you get back in there and you know what's up. That's all I'm saying. But this movie itself, or this show, I should say, I keep wanting to call it movie because of how the visuals are.
So theatrical,
It's so theatrical. And I mean, Disney, and I should say Apple. Apple always goes big. Look at the Foundation. If you watch that, they spend so much money on that. That looks like a movie, and all their projects. That Invasion just came out for a second season. That alone too, it looks huge. It's like big budgets. And it's like taking movies to the small screen. And for me, I'm all about this. I really am. And I think this Godzilla movie could be fucking great. And I think we should watch this trailer together, though, because it's huge. There's a lot that's going on. I think we watch the trailer, we can get into it, we can talk about it some more, because we all have to watch it. If you haven't seen everybody together, let's watch the trailer for Godzilla. Let's do this right now. Godzilla trailer coming your way.
I really like the previous monster version.
I don't know if this will get to you. I hope so.
Adding to that, I don't see anybody that can do that.
But maybe I could leave something for the future.
There he is.
A legacy.
The world is on fire.
What could come out of the sea there? It's such a mystery.
Hopes, dreams, ambitions. The mission was to protect their world.
I like that, Racer X.
Hey, Racer X, Godzuki. I know about Godzuki. I'm a big Godzuki.
We wanted Monarch to be.
There he is, Mike.
Monsters. If you come with me, you'll know everything. I promise.
Manny Bading.
John Goodman?
Yeah.
Oh! Look at that TV, everybody.
It's like a big monster. You just fucking shit up. That's all I need.
Fucking shit up.
Not for nothing. That doesn't look too fucking compelling, to be honest.
Oh, geez, Sabrina. Tell us how you really feel. Sabrina, do you not like this trailer? What do you think?
I mean, I'm just saying it doesn't look like for a Godzilla. Like I would expect that there to be like more excitement, And also, John Goodman looked like Mandy Patinkin.
More excitement with Godzilla than there is, and that's my problem with Godzilla.
Oh, generally speaking, yes, I like that. I like that, Rachel. You're absolutely right.
But Sabrina, do you see that this could be a good, like a match? I mean, Kurt Russell, his kid, tying into the movies.
I don't know. I don't know. I like Kurt Russell very much. His son, I'm not super sold on. The one, he has 3 kids, obviously. Kate Hudson's one of them. Then there's the guy who was in Scream Queens and on Rules of Engagement for a very long time. I wish I knew his name. Very talented, like him a lot. This particular fellow was in The Winter Soldier, right? With not a super fan of that performance. He was
not Captain America.
Yeah, he was not Captain America. But then I did see him in the Girl in the Window thing with Amy Adams, and he was good in that. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn on him, but I do love Kurt Russell. It's like, why are we doing this again? I don't know. It's like I feel like every single episode I have to have a question about penis, and I'm not. This is like, is this Mario Godzilla? He's like coming in hardcore for a kid. Jack Black just went down like this in the movie, I think.
Taking out Ultraman.
Yeah.
I mean, I will absolutely watch it because it's Kurt Russell, but like, I don't know why we're making this for the 37th time.
But it's a show, though. It's a different world.
It's the 37th time.
Mike, are you excited about this at all? Do you think this trailer looks good?
The Godzilla dropkick, said Razor X.
Are you excited
I'm very excited. What I like just then is you said, but it's a show. It's a thing. Oh, this is what we're doing. Like, so it's similar.
That's using penis all the time.
It's a show, Mike.
That's the way I like to make pleas as well. Like, how can you not? You got to give it a little bit of leeway. Okay, so I was surprised by this. I didn't realize that it was going to be a series. First off, what? So John Goodman is just going to be a
cameo world, apparently,
right? He was in Cloverfield Lane, right?
Oh, yeah, still good.
Which is a spin-off of Cloverfield. So he's not new to the kaiju giant lizard devastating your city reality. We as a society should all be willing to accept that.
Lovely parallel.
There. Yeah, I mean,
2 points to you, Touchy
Sabrina,
Ghost.
I agree. It's not. They're not really giving us what we want. Which what I liked about Godzilla versus Kong is that you get like it keeps promising on the premise, which is kaiju, which is giant monsters that you could never possibly hope to defeat. Just kicking each other's ass like high in the sky. Like when I saw them freaking team up to like German suplex the bad guy, like I was losing it. Like because that's all I really want. I don't know if it just really touches like the if it really touches the little boy inside of me.
Oh, that sounded super
weird. Leave that little boy alone, Mike.
That was a little pedophile.
But I see your point in that it doesn't deliver on that part of the premise, and weirdly, like all they're trying to do is repeatedly set up like, oh, like Monarch. What's Monarch doing?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a mystery.
What are they doing? What is a society that's going to take everyone down?
Just stop it.
Here's the hook. Are we ever going to deliver on the premise of this?
In 10 episodes, you hopefully will find out.
There's no delivery.
They literally just rebooted this with like Millie Bobby Brown.
But it's a continuation of that, Sabrina.
Part of that.
It's ish. It's ish.
It's all part of that world. It's part of that world.
You're making it a show. It's like weird. Like why?
It's JJ.
Why are you doing it? We did it. You did it.
I feel
like you into it.
I'm not into Godzilla in general. I wanted to be into Godzilla.
I thought you were going to say you were into it.
So here's the thing. On Lexi's old podcast, we covered Godzilla and Kong. And so I watched, several of the Godzilla movies and several of the Kong movies. And I found myself pretty damn bored by Godzilla because it's not all fighting monsters. It's mostly just people standing around talking about this big blizzard who shows up for like 10 minutes. So honestly, from that trailer, we've probably seen all of the Godzilla that's going to be in the TV show. It's going to be mostly people just standing around talking. It's a really slow burn, and honestly, I vastly prefer the Kong side of this franchise.
Yeah,
Kong is so good.
Maybe
Kong is so
more action. There's more happening.
The
and honestly,
Hollow Earth.
I thought Kurt Russell was dead, so I'm surprised. Like, I'm glad he's alive.
Oh my god!
I'm not killing Kurt Russell over here. I just thought he died a couple years ago.
That is
Kurt Russell to you, man. Kicking ass still.
Kurt Russell being alive and playing Santa Claus in a terrible movie.
They did a couple of them. Good for him. Making dreams come true.
Literally, that I was like, this is your turning point, bro.
But I think like for TV though, like because what happened before with the Godzilla stuff is like the last one they released right to Max. Or was HBO Max at that point?
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
the last one, the one that Lance was in?
Yeah, they released
that
it
would have been an excellent theatrical movie.
I think that'd be a good theater movie.
Perfect theater movie. And I think because of that, they didn't make...
I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? It's not like it was bad. I'm just tired of it.
But it did well, Sabrina. So I think they thought like, okay, let's buy this IP.
It did well on Netflix.
And let's like bring it out in a series form. And then if people love it so much, they'll bring them back. I mean... Apple they're gonna spare no expense, in the words of Jurassic Park, they're just not gonna do it. And so I think
it
must go faster.
Finds a way.
Must go faster. Fucking Jeff Goldblum, friend of the show, I should say. Friend of the show. And John Goodman, friend of the fucking show too, man. I worked with John Goodman before I saw him in this. I worked with John Goodman one time. It was unfortunately a time in his career where he was like super like unhealthy and he was going through some physical stuff. He was massive, right? And you could tell he was so tired he'd stay on his mark the whole time. And I was standing in for Justin Bartha. And Justin Bartha from National Treasure, not friend of the show. But, whatever. That's a whole different story.
Not friend of the show.
But,
enemy of the show.
Yeah, he's fucking piece of shit. So I'm standing in for Justin Bartha. And John Goodman day in, day out, he'd stay right there, eyes closed like this, sitting there doing nothing. And I got so used to it, I just started talking to everybody, doing my thing, Then all of a sudden, one day, he goes, rah! And he dives at me. I'm like, oh, fuck! And I go back, and I jumped up my mark. He's like, ha, ha, ha. Gotcha, kid. And I was like, fuck my life. You got me big time, and then he went back to sleep. But like, I knew he was fucking building. Friend of the show. Fuck yeah, John Goodman. So every time I see John Goodman, I think about how fucking funny and nice human being he is and his career he's had. And so I'm all up for anything he does. And the fact that he's coming back for a TV show is massive. I mean, he's been doing the Connors, but like to take his character from a movie and bring it to TV, like fuck yeah, John Goodman, and like fuck yeah, Kurt Russell. I think this is a good cast.
It is a great cast.
You're spending time. I think it might be a good. Why do you have ears?
I put it on for Lexi.
Oh, I didn't.
My homage to Lexi.
I thought it was. I thought it just happened like via your phone for a second, like cat ears appear. Like the thumbs up.
What is that called? Snapchat, like child. I don't know. I don't do that. I'm old. Whatever it is.
Radioactive pulse.
I saw it next to my computer, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put this on for Lexi." I don't think she's still watching though, because she hasn't commented. Fucking Lexi, what the shit? I'm giving you an homage. You don't even care. Rachel, yell. Be like, Lexi, what the fuck?
I think it's gonna be fun though.
Text her.
I think it'll be fun. Like fuck yeah, bring Godzilla to TVs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And make it something fucking big. I'm all about it. I think it's gonna be great. And if you don't, I get the reluctance about it, being like scared about it. Cause not scared, but like why are we doing this and the fatigue with it? But I think this is a good media for it. I think that the way that they used to be the monster franchise, you put them on TV, then you branch off. They could have like a Kong show then. It's gonna be a whole new universe. You know what I mean? They could have a Mothra show. They got fucking Mothra in there, and Godzilla can cross over.
They tried to bring in Mothra at the end.
Mike, come on. How cool is this? This could be cool.
It could be cool, but the problem is if they give us like 3 episodes before they give us like a little taste of like crazy monster.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's
how Godzilla rolls.
Honestly, it's like how many fucking times?
It's gonna be the way that they spent money on the Game of Thrones universe. Like they peter it out until like at the end they spend $100 million on an episode of TV.
And like,
so it's going to be incredibly frustrating, but ultimately I might enjoy it just because
it's going to be filling on the whole, right, Mike?
I'll watch it. and I'll probably like it, like ish. Like if you have no expectations, you are rarely disappointed. Let's be clear, right? Like if you have no expectations, you can't. That's like the basic principles of Buddhism, right? If you don't expect shit, you can't get upset about anything because there's no disappointment because there's no expectation, right? So let's like movie wise, I find that when I walk into a movie where I'm like we saw The Nun. Something like
Nun 2.
17 yesterday.
Nun 2.
Terrible
You
movie. But
didn't think so. You jump scared a few times.
I jump scared once.
That doesn't
Once.
You can jump scare while something's mediocre
Bad.
or
Thank
bad.
you.
It's just loud. If something's just loud, it doesn't.
It
mean
was
it's good.
subpar. And also I want
I
to
think it
share
was
this.
shot very well.
I want to share this with the world. It was. You're right. I want to share this with the world. The Nun, I think, is Jane Lynch with like some serious like makeup on. Like I'm pretty sure it's Jane Lynch. Everyone might know her from Glee. Also, any Christopher Guest movie. Currently starring in
Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders in the Building.
Great show.
Pretty sure she's the nun. I don't know. I'm just saying that. Just throwing that out there. It's my theory. But she is. Oh my God, Ryan is so upset. He's like, "You're all too sober. This is like a Wednesday." All right, everybody, drink for Ryan. I'm gonna have to make a new
I am
drink,
not
Ryan,
taking
but I
my shirt off
will.
tonight, Ryan.
Yeah,
Water
he wants you
is not
to.
gonna make him feel any better.
So yeah, anyway, I don't know. It was subpar, but I had zero expectations and I didn't leave the theater disappointed, except for that I left my phone in the bathroom and had to bang on the door to get back in. So yeah, not upset. But I saw, what was that other shitty movie?
Which one? Blue Beetle?
No, that I hated. There's another shitty movie that I saw that I had zero expectations for, and I was like, oh, not that bad. The Meg 2. The Meg 2. Who thinks that's going to be fucking good? Literally no one. So I went there in the
Popcorn flick.
4DX chair, and there's Jason Statham single-handedly fought a shark, and I was like, I'm totally cool with that. Like, it was fine. It wasn't a great movie.
Because
I would
there's
never tell
action.
anyone to go see it. Right,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed
That's
it.
the problem
This is
with
full
Godzilla
action.
is the lack of action.
It might be full though.
They
It
better
might
get
be.
more action.
Honestly,
You're right. You're right.
Actually, everybody's probably right. There'll probably be a bunch of talking heads and then randomly Godzilla. You know what I mean? Like randomly out of nowhere. You know?
Race Rex, you're right. The first Nun sucked. It was like I expected it to be terrifying because
It was not.
the idea
This
of
one
a
was
nun
better.
is terrifying. And the way they introduced it in The Conjuring was terrifying. And then we went and saw it. And we were like, what the fuck?
And spoiler
Shit.
alert, they're tying into the Conjuring universe. So it's all
Is
gonna
that a spoiler alert?
I mean, they're tying
Literally,
it finally
they
in.
debuted the
literally
nun in The
advertised it as
Conjuring.
Yeah, that's like the next. I think the next Conjuring will probably be about the nun. That's what I say. But I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. First of all, you're talking out of the side of your mouth right now.
Jimmy
And
John's.
also, like, they literally, after they solved the nun crisis in London, they come home and, like, she was scared the shit out of her daughter. They locked her in. It was like a whole thing. That's how the nun was born.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That's spoiler alert. Have you seen The Conjuring 5 years ago? It wasn't like it was yesterday.
That's true. I did.
There's no spoiler. There's no
This show spoils
spoiler.
movies that came out 2 days ago. This movie
Yeah.
was 5 years ago.
That's
Let's,
true.
I know we
This was a
spoil
long
all the
time
time.
ago.
We always spoil.
That's true.
Heavy
That's
spoilers here. It just happens, you know. But Godzilla, I think this medium
Gates
for
of Hell. I'm gonna
Godzilla.
watch that.
What the nun is?
I'm sorry, no, I just took it down. There you go.
Oh, okay. Bonnie.
I'm gonna watch The Gates of Hell. I'm curious.
But,
I had no
I think
idea.
Godzilla's a
Nuns
good
are
IP
terrifying.
for like TV. I think it works.
They're
And I
trying.
think, like,
they're trying to
you're
make it
trying
happen.
to
They've
make
been
it
trying to make
happen.
MonsterVerse happen for a long
they're
time
trying to
now.
just
They're
spread
not
that
stopping.
IP-ness around as much as
They're
possible.
trying to spread the
Godzilla's
IP-ness
got a
make it
lot of
work.
IP-ness.
It's a
Drag
huge
that
IP-ness.
through the
It's
whole
massive
city, yeah.
IP-ness.
Troika.
It's massive. It's massive. But another IP they've been trying to spread around the world for a long time. It's called I Am Legend, and finally it's coming into fruition. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. What are you trying to say, Sabrina?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was whispering because I was trying to be.
They
cool.
can still hear you.
Well, I was whispering. Oh, is this happening again?
No, it's not.
He wanted to know if we like the Annabelle films. I didn't want to like move on without answering the question.
Annabelle films can be fun. I mean, again, they're all in that universe. I like all that universe. It's all good, but it's great. But I Am Legend 2 is coming, everybody. Apparently they've been working on it since like forever. I mean, this came out in 2007, and Will Smith's character, Dr. Robert Neville, actually died in this, but they're saying they're going to take the alternate ending, the original ending, and go off that and ignore the ending from the theatrical release. And the original ending that they didn't release, they released it later on YouTube and on the DVD releases and stuff like that. Apparently, he wheels like the zombie out there, gives it away, and we find out that all the zombies, or I guess in this they call them the Dark Seekers, they actually have been living and growing as a society, and they're sentient and they understand things and they have their own way of talking and living. But they took that away in the theatrical version because they thought they wanted to make it more of a zombie movie. But in the original book, that's where it goes down to. It's all about vampires taking over society, and then they reign supreme at the end of the book, and then humans are gone and there's a new empire of vampires. They're even scared of garlic apparently in this whole thing in the book.
Isn't that a thing?
They actually went there though in the book though too, that they were running society.
But he died.
And it was a whole different thing. He didn't die in the original ending, so they're gonna retcon all that, and now he will not die, and Will Smith will come back to play his same character. And the only reason this is happening because Michael B. Jordan actually talked to Will Smith about it. Michael B. Jordan had an idea to move forward, and Will Smith said, like, after he talked to him, he said the idea came up. I can't talk about it yet, but it's really, really cool concept. And Michael B. Jordan was part of creating the idea. So it was one of those things where I was gonna leave it alone because he didn't want to touch it. And then I heard the idea, and I was like, that might work. I think we can do that. So they've been talking about this for a long time, and now it's actually moving forward. Of course, if the strikes won't happen anytime soon, there's a script, they're moving forward. Warner Brothers is all about it. They've been trying to make this sense. It was 2022 when they actually had a whole thing where they actually greenlit it and they were going forward with it, but now it's actually moving forward. And I guess I said the whole idea for the original series was that the Dark Seekers would evolve and get smarter and potentially build a whole civilization. And that's what the book wanted. But so a lot of fans were mad because when they watched it, it wasn't about that. It was just a zombie movie, as opposed to like Will Smith finding out that he is the last person from an old society and the new society has scared them almost. And like, who is this person from our past? So I think that's a cool idea. Of course, you're going to dive into it, make it about, vampires and make it go that route, then you have to retcon that ending and move it forward. And it's just crazy to me because, again, 2007, now it's a long time that nothing has happened with this, and now we're talking about it again. So I'm like, okay, it's happening. What do we think about this? Sabrina, do you think this is a good idea to move forward and make a I Am Legend after all this time, or should Will Smith, stop getting jiggy with it like it's 1999, leave it in the past?
Stop getting jiggy with it.
Oh, shit.
Ryan Bauer with the best line of the night. I love it. Hilarious.
Now Ryan needs to take a drink.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan, take a drink.
Hit your burnettes, motherfucker.
Even
Funny,
Ray
Ryan.
Drax
Yeah,
it.
Ray. I love Ray Drax. Dude, you please come back. You're amazing. I'm gonna quickly address your Annabelle question. I like I said in the chat, but I don't know. I don't know that I can watch that. I'm terrified of dolls already from Barbarella because I'm old. Yeah, I've heard it's good, but whatever. What's the question you asked me?
Do you think this is a good idea to bring
this
this IP back since 2017 or 2007?
Hard no. And again, I think Razor X also said that he died and his dog died too.
I know the dog died. He died.
What are we doing?
We're retconning it though.
Who's gonna pretend that didn't happen? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not. As everyone knows on the show, anyone who knows me, anyone who knows the show, I do not like to recycle my penis. IP-ness. No. Hardcore no.
Fresh
I do
IP.
appreciate the memes. Yeah, I like a good fresh IP. I like it. I like for people to like
young IP.
She likes the young IP.
What? The young IP? Why is your IP sound like a creeper?
Not the old IP.
I just don't want you to keep doing the same ideas. There are so many talented people out there that have so many fresh ideas and so many scripts that are waiting to be made. Like, why are you just banking on bullshit? Like, just move on. Do other things, do better things, do new things. And if they're not better, whatever, at least they're new. Get them out there. Like this, it never used to be this way. Now it's just like a constant recycling of fucking bullshit. And like, I'm not saying that some of it's not good, because it is. Sometimes it's great, but it's rare. And I just feel like something like the last year's Oscars showed us. Everything Everywhere All at Once was a weird, convoluted, crazy multiverse situation that couldn't have been more visually stunning and acted any better than it was. So why aren't we doing more shit like that?
That's a financial risk,
Reviving.
Isn't it?
Who cares?
It's a big risk.
It won all the awards.
I can tell you who cares.
All the awards.
Nobody else did it
People that are
because the people are
investing
scared
money.
of new. People are scared of new,
but
Mike.
A24 took that chance and they reaped the rewards.
They've been trying to
So
do.
instead,
I
you're
love
going to keep doing
A24.
dumb
I'm an
stuff.
A24
You know?
dude.
I'm sorry, Brian. What were you saying?
I said, look at this. So like, Sabrina, like this has been like this movie came out in 2007, and the fact they want to like retcon the ending and like go with an alternate ending that was never released only to YouTube and DVD, like, you know, supplementary materials. Like the fact they're doing that is like, it's kind of crazy that they're willing to go to that extent to make something like this work in present day. But like for me, I'm like, why? I mean, honestly, I like I Am Legend. I didn't read the book, so I didn't know about this whole vampire thing that was
it's a vampire, not zombie?
They're kind of their own thing. They're not really either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rachel,
they're more
answer
right.
the question.
Rachel, did you read the book before? Do you know about this series more in depth? What do you think about this?
Shit.
Oh, I didn't read
Nice.
the book at all, but I did watch Lexi's comment there about the best versions being Vincent Price's
missed
Last
that.
Man on Earth.
I'm sorry.
I 100% agree with that. Again, we covered this
There
on
it is.
Lexi's
I'm
old
sorry.
podcast, The Three Demers. So
Yeah, this came out in
there's several episodes you can
1954,
go
the
watch.
original book.
Three Demers.
But
Okay, yeah, Three Demers.
we
Totally missed that comment. Sorry, Lexi.
Sorry, we covered it, and Last Man on Earth was absolutely the best version, 100%. And then Omega Man, also fantastic. I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Yep, which
It's a movie, right? It's a movie, right?
It's necessary to make another one. I think there could be some interesting exploration of that world, but do I think continuing this particular version of it is necessary? Absolutely not. Make a new one, cast new people, make it within that universe, and not having to do with this film.
Right.
Make it within like the same I Am Legend, like greater ideascape, without having it be related to this. It's just it's just dumb. It's unnecessary. I think this whole show we've been talking about projects that have been pseudo announced, and it just really feels like so many of these are probably not going to happen. It feels like these studios are just putting out press so that there's something that is being talked about that's not the strike.
Aside from the strike, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, 100%. And that you're right, because that's all we have right now, Rachel.
They also are talking about pulling stuff. Like that's not. It's just you're exactly right. It's like a news cycle. They're trying to pull focus from the bullshit that they're doing.
They're punishing people by pulling completed projects, but they're trying to distract the citizenry by announcing new projects. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit, and I'll believe it when it comes
check
out.
that out.
Yeah,
Credit services for the citizenry.
I'll believe it when it comes.
Really important.
I'll believe it when it comes out.
We're talking about there's like there means multiple versions, and everyone was like mad about. Again, like Rachel, you're right. Like people were mad about this movie because it wasn't the best adaptation of the source material. And the thing is, they're saying about this movie is, we're going to actually dive into the source material. We're going to make it the most accurate version ever. We're going to go into this whole new society where Will Smith's older now, and now there's this whole vampire-ish.
But he died.
But they're probably going to begin the movie. I'd imagine the script begins with Michael B. Jordan. It's Michael B. Jordan's idea.
The dog died first, and then he died.
The dog died first. It was very depressed when the dog died. But I honestly never see that. But he killed the dog on film. You never see that.
It's an easy way to get. It's manipulative of a filmmaker.
There's a website dedicated to that. It's called "Does the Dog Die?" And you can search the movie, and it'll tell you.
No, I can't. I'll cry.
It's the whole reason that John Wick means anything at all. If the dog didn't die in John Wick 1, none of us would give a shit. This whole $30 billion empire.
One wraps right in.
Killed a dog.
Literally, my brother made me watch that, and I was like, I don't want to watch this fucking bullshit. Excuse my language. Just kidding. I curse.
You
all
don't
the
curse
time.
all. Tell me, Tom.
I said just kidding, but literally, I was like, I was bawling. I was bawling my eyes out, and I was like, he better kill those fucking motherfuckers. Like literally from my chair, and I was like on the edge of my seat, like screaming, and he was like, wow, I didn't expect this reaction. Like, but I had my two dogs in my lap. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like,
they sold it really well in that movie.
They really fucking did. And I still love it to this day. Every fucking one, I love it more than the last. It's amazing.
But this, so they're saying they're going to retcon it because, again, like I said, there's an alternate ending where he didn't die. And apparently, when
it's not an alternate ending. Watch the movie. The movie happened.
I know the theatrical version, he dies. You know, he does a little butterfly thing. He sacrifices himself.
Brian. So you see occasionally on DVDs or released after the fact, you see movies that have other endings. That happens occasionally. How often is it that you see a sequel developed upon that alternate take? Like
it's super rare. It's super rare.
Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It's ever happened.
It might
But
be
was
so.
it actually,
This is the first biggest-
was it in the DVD version or whatever the fuck? Like
Yeah.
people even watch that anymore?
DVD version, and then they released the YouTube after the movie came. Well, I mean, when
so
YouTube
they're
blew up.
going off of that. That makes it slightly more plausible.
and
I
in
still
that-
don't like it.
and in
but-
that-
It's one thing
he-
if people are like, oh, okay, like the alternate version on the DVD. That's part of my head.
That's
canon.
way,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
way
a
better.
Very different thing if they go.
They didn't go with
back
it
and
because
they're
it-
retconning
Bro,
reality.
you can't just be
Yeah.
like, this person didn't die.
It's the
I'm
same
sorry,
shit
Rachel,
though, where they do
what'd you
test
say?
audiences. They tested this ending, and people were like unfulfilled by it because all he does is he pushes the zombie out. They have a little heartfelt moment. They interact where you can tell where they
Bye,
actually
zombie.
understand
We're
each
cool.
other.
Bye.
And the zombies all leave, and he lives. In the theatrical version, like he sacrifices himself. He pulls a grenade out. He blows the whole thing up, and everyone dies.
Right.
And then it has like a
which
voiceover
is
thing
a
about.
much better story, is it not?
Sacrifices
Yes.
himself for what?
Well, he kills so that
For
she can get
nothing. There's
away.
no
He-
humanity.
He's the last
Neither.
dude.
No, but there's a girl though. There's a girl, and then you find out at the very end there's a whole society that's outskirts. They've been like locked away, and she takes the antidote
I
to them.
remember literally
and,
none of
And then
that.
it's the antidote that makes it can save the whole world pretty much. And he created it from that
Sounds like
zombie.
Last of Us, by the
From
way.
that, it's very well. The Last of Us. I mean, it's very Last of Us, but like he creates that
There's
formula,
nothing
and then
original in the year of 2023.
he goes
No
and blows
shit.
everybody up so she can get away with the
Barbie-
formula and
Barbie
saves the
was original.
world. But that's what they're trying to pull off of. But Mike, do you think that they should retcon this and go into this world, or do you think that 2007 is so far gone? Why are we touching upon this again?
It's very far. So, sorry, that the reason I jumped in there is because I
No, jump in,
presumed
babe.
that you wouldn't get back to me. So
Oh, fuck, I'm getting to you, Mike.
to me.
I apologize for that.
You
He
figure
hasn't
you're-
died in movies, right?
But my most important point here is the level of aggression on that GIF that you shared earlier. I don't know if you're going to share it again, but
I can if you want.
It's like 20 years ago.
in the past, Will Smith being angry in a GIF felt one way. We felt like, okay, he's representing everyone. He's fighting on my side. Now in 2023, when I see Will Smith being really aggressive on a GIF, I feel, especially as he's coming at me on my screen, I feel much
Chris
more
Rock.
frightened for my safety. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one you want, right, Mike?
You feeling a little-
Maybe I'm alone with
scared?
this. If anybody else, if I'm the only person that feels like that, maybe so. Maybe
Chris Rock probably feels like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Chris
sure
Rock
does.
is
I went to his
devastated.
it's on Netflix, but I went to that comedy show that he was promoting. Like he literally for the first time addressed it, and it was he did a hilarious job explaining. And people are like, did it hurt? He's like, yeah, it fucking hurt. That motherfucker played Muhammad Ali. I played Booty Tang. Like, who the fuck do you
That's
think?
pretty fucking great.
Are you fucking
Pretty
insane?
fucking great.
that joke probably happened in his mind like 15 milliseconds
Immediately.
after he got
Immediately.
left.
He was like, "Oh, I got some shit now."
But Mike, instead of rebooting this IP, like this is a way of bringing it back because they've done 3 versions of it now, right? And it's been since 2007. It's almost 20
I wanna
years
see
later,
the
you know.
Mega Man.
Like, do you think this is a way to bring it back into fruition and do it right though?
This is Will Smith looking back in his Rolodex of ideas, thinking, what can I sell?
Well, we can't make another Men in Black. That one failed. Let's do another one of these.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly feels like that. Like, what is going to be the most acceptable thing, the easiest to get down to have the Get Back into America tour, like, and also kind of pretending that nothing ever happened, which is like going back to this mid-level property that's super old, that like people are just going to be like, oh, here's I Am Legend. I don't know. I don't give a shit about it. It's interesting that they're operating off of something that was on the DVD, because you never see that.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I don't know,
also,
man. I don't
Mike,
know.
do you think they can just be like, that was on the DVD and no one literally knows because DVDs don't really even exist anymore?
It's been a big thing on the internet, though.
It's going to be a Mandela effect situation.
Yeah.
They're going to say
It was always that way. It was always that
been
way.
The Berenstain
Did you
Bears.
say
There's
Mandela effect?
There's
Yeah.
no
Okay.
Berenstain Bears. You're living in a false reality. He's going to bring out the.
You do
No,
not
he
see
totally
this.
lived. He
thing
lived. The
from
dog.
Men
The
in
dog was
Black.
fine. They were running off in the sunset together. He was riding the dog. What are you talking about? ridiculous.
Ray, it's all wrong.
This is my
Ridiculous.
little mind erasure
Oh,
thing. Yeah.
Look into this lead. Wait.
No, I could see that. I'm like them like retconning everything and actually changing the ending on the DVDs and the digital stuff and like
Oh,
putting
that's
that
so
ending
scary. Oh my God. You
and
know
then
you have to
playing
be
it
worried
off
about
like
the
that was
future,
always
man.
that way.
That could actually happen and not just people that are doing
guarantee, Mike,
Hollywood properties. This
but
is
you see that.
people that
That's
are
a terrible
affecting the
precedent.
history.
I don't
of,
like that. Let's not do
Serious
I
that.
guarantee,
Oh,
Mike. I guarantee
Scary.
once they officially announce they're starting production for this, I guarantee they're gonna have a digital release reissuing I Am Legend 1. And that ending is going to be the ending that you never saw in theaters. I guarantee it. So that people watch
like
it
it.
again because people be like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
it's
to
gonna
see
be
it.
the beginning, like
And
the
they'll
first
watch
scene,
it
the
again.
cold open.
And they'll
That's
be like,
why,
oh,
that's
this
why
is
that VHS that you've got kept in the incorrect case. That's
it's-
the puffy
Definitely.
Little
I have to
Mermaid
digitize
case.
You
that.
got
You
used
put in
from
the wrong one, like
Blockbuster.
that's important. That's important
Well, yeah.
for archival purposes.
It's like I have the original Star Wars, you know, like when it first came out on VHS. And I guarantee if I pop that in there, it's not, there's a lot they changed. And they're acting like it's all like the C3PO thing about his leg was always a
His
different
leg was
color.
silver. They
Go
said it was
fuck
silver.
yourself. That's not real,
They're like,
Mandela effect.
I read 9
not
articles
real.
about it. His leg is always silver. The
That's
one,
bullshit.
just the bottom part of the one leg, just
Bullshit.
this part of the one
I
leg
have
is
the
silver.
unedited laser discs. I will check them.
Is it silver?
that's
Please, we need to
rad.
know.
We should all
this
check.
This is going to be a need to know.
It's
Like,
an
I need to
ongoing
know.
thing. We will fact check those Mandela effects, but you are fans.
I was watching. I was like, "That there's no way that's fucking true." There was a lot of them where I was like, "Maybe," but like that, I was like, "No,
There's no way.
How do you not notice that C3PO is not
remember-
completely gold?
I remember they were
That's a big
changing it.
thing.
I remember they were changing it because of it. I remember when they were changing it because of it. They were trying. I remember George Lucas doing
The
a whole
action
thing. Like,
figures were always all gold, weren't they?
yes, always all gold, 100%.
Yeah.
But now they're saying they were always had a silver
Toys
leg.
are easier to manufacture that way.
To be fair, the Mandela effect of people remembering things different is different than the effect of deliberately altering
Fucking with
the
that.
archive.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
so I don't know if that one has a
100.
name, but you
100.
just have to call that out.
I
That's
said
called
100 and I put a 2 sign up. I
Lucetian
don't know what that
effect.
meant.
200.
100.
The 3PO
700.
effect.
All the hundreds.
3PO.
1000. 1000.
You know. But this too, I'm like, if you're gonna redo this, I guess it's the way of rebooting this without having to reboot it. But you know, I like Will Smith, even though he might
Unnecessary.
fucking smack the shit out of you someday if you can't handle your shit. You know. So I mean, that's Will Smith. He's getting jiggy with it. He's slapping fucking Chris Rocks, and he's
Is he fighting a big metal spider?
and he's fighting his wife sometimes. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's
Shots fired.
it's you know.
Pew, pew, pew.
Apparently, he's a fucking
give a
lovely human
C-3PO
being. It's just
and,
it was a time in his life where he
I'm
lost
trying
his
to get in
shit.
there.
I'm not trying to talk hate about Will Smith because I've loved him a long time. Remember it was 1999. We're rolling in 2000. I was listening to that Will 2K, like my fucking Walkman, or it was a fucking disc player. I was fucking jamming that, watching fireworks rolling in. I fucking love Will Smith. I mean, and a part of me has always been like, I don't like to see that. But then again, people lose their shit, and but I still don't fucking sanction what he did to fucking Chris Rock. That's bullshit, you know, at the end of the day. The Mandela effect is real. It is real. Racer
It's
X.
in the Matrix.
It's
It's
the
always
Mandela
Matrix. That
effect
makes perfect sense.
Humans' brains are really bad at remembering things.
But
They're
like,
just
how
the
are
best
all of the
explanation.
humans' brains?
Mhm.
How are all of the humans' brains better
My
remembering
brain
something?
sucks.
Like, okay, I fell down the rabbit hole the other day. This is a
no.
light sidebar.
Oh,
I'll be very quick.
no conspiracy. No.
Very quick. No, it's not a conspiracy.
Anyways, everybody.
No, wait. It's really quick. It's 2 seconds. I'm sorry. So the Mandela effect thing, I was like watching all these things about the Mandela effect, and I'm like, okay, I get that. And one of the things was C-3PO's leg. The other thing that blew my mind was that Fruit of the Loom, like the fruit in Fruit of the
Cornucopia.
Loom. That there wasn't a cornucopia ever.
Cornucopia.
It's just the fruit. And then the person
Bringing
who
grapes the whole time.
just hanging out, just
Hanging
doing
out
their
by
thing.
themselves.
Just
Hanging
loose
alone.
grapes and bananas.
But the person who like made
snowballing.
the person who owns Fruit, like the Fruit of the Loom person, was like, no, I'm pretty sure there was a cornucopia. Like they have a statement from him. So how is that a thing? That's weird. It's weird. Just like the C-3PO leg is weird. That was the weirdest one I found. All the other shit is kind of like, meh. That is weird.
And that's a whole conversation.
He
with
created
me.
it.
Bears Bears ones gets me. That's the one.
Me
Me
too.
too,
Me
every
too. But we
time.
brought that up
Every
already, and
time.
I get that. And I remember it different than other people remember it. 100%. That is 100% real. But like cornucopia or no cornucopia, I didn't even. The person who created it was like, there was a cornucopia, And on record, no cornucopia. That's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
It's very weird, Sabrina. And that's the thing. Like, that's where it comes down to when people change stuff on cinema and then they act like it's always been that way, Mike. It's, you know,
what are you doing?
It gets a slippery slope.
And here, I think the explanation, the potential explanation is what's weird. The phenomenon is a little bit strange, but the
phenomenon's real.
The supposition of what could possibly be happening there is.
See, Ryan remembers the cornucopia.
Mike, it's as real as this fucking I Am Legend 2 happening. It's been announced. It's been in development. They're doing it. Will Smith is getting fucking jiggy with it again with some zombie vampire bloodlusting motherfuckers. It's going down. And you know what?
Thank you, manatees.
Anyway, it is what it is, Mike. And hopefully it's a good movie. Hopefully they're going to reboot it. You go to your source material, you make it right this time. You got great actors. You got Michael B. Jordan, you got Will Smith. Hopefully it's good. That's all I can say. If it's not, then you guys fucking need to stop. I mean, you always need to stop, but just make a good movie.
Stop. You just got to stop, guys.
If you make a good movie, make a new movie. For fuck's sake.
General, please.
And at that, everybody, thank you so much for being here on Cruise Control tonight. We appreciate you as always. Happy fucking Friday. Racer X, thank you for joining us here on our Happy Friday edition. Cheers to you, Guy. Cheers to you. Thank you for being here and supporting Cruise Control. I appreciate it.
Cheers, everyone. Friday. Mike, drinks up.
Mike, do you want to take it away this time again or what?
Thank you. Wait. Tell your manatees. Tell your manatees. Tell all the other aquatic animals that you have in your life. Tell your sea mammals. tell your neighbor that you don't like so much. Tell your grandpa's mailman who comes to you and he's delivering things late, and you're getting kind of angry, but ultimately you understand that.
Subscribe.
He's doing the best that he can.
Right.
Tell your let's get into the Australian animals. Tell your marsupials. Kangaroos. Tell your koalas. Tell your opossums. Tell your regular possums. Tell your dentist.
Thanks,
tell all your other healthcare professionals. Tell the people that you love in your life.
Tell them all, Mike. Like and subscribe to our Patreon if you can.
Joking. He said keep it close.
And like I said, so as Mike said, tell your friends, your family, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nephews, your grandmas, your grandpas, all the marsupilami's out there in the world. Take your clothes off, smack a bitch in the face, and tell them like Cruise Control. Tell those fucking mailmen who fucking deliver fleas and mice and lice and bitches and bats and cocaine to your house like Cruise Control. Tell them all, because you know what? The marsupilami's will come in your house and they'll fucking tickle your innards and they'll make you fucking sleep. Fucking it's so nice and you're so sleeping, you'll fucking wake up one day like, who fucking how's that person that like Cruise Control? Like it every day. Subscribe. We're at fucking 574 people. Tell your fucking worldwide network. Like and subscribe. Join our Patreon. And as always, everybody, come on back. It's only Friday. We're back for Monday. And thank you all. Fucking signs those fucking squirrels because they're douchebags with the fucking chinchillas.
The squirrels are nice. We have a squirrel named Rufus.
Rufus is a fucking lovely human being. And as always, everybody, have a great night. Thank you for being here tonight. And see ya.